This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, boy, watching this one, you just feel hungover the whole time. It's North by Northwest. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabot.
And we love movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Love Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. WLM month continues here on the main feed as we talk about North by Northwest from 1959, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. So this comes right between the year before he does Vertigo. The year after this, the motherfucker does Psycho. Unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah, he's on a streak here.
When did he
Total
do
streak.
Leprechaun 2? Is that
A little later.
I was
A
about to
little bit
say
later.
yes, Steve, because this is the debut of WLML month, and Andrew just had a pint of whiskey before going on the air.
Oh, this is the first one? See, here's the thing.
Yes.
We recorded these all out of order. I got no fucking clue what's going on. Fucking
it's good thing-
bullshit.
We already did an episode of Memento,
Yeah.
but here, folks at home, you guys don't know this. You can't see this. I'm drinking this is a classy movie, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
Classy
you know,
movie.
You got to drink spirits for that. And the cocktail of choice in this movie is a pint glass full of whiskey. And I tried to get all these guys to do this with me. They didn't want to do it. So I only got 8 ounces in front of me of whiskey, but I'm going to be sipping on this bad boy.
It's okay,
Ooh.
Eric. Now I just have this image of Andrew, like his mother finally listens to the show and is aghast, and he's like, "No, mother, they put whiskey down my throat. They forced me down on the couch, and they poured whiskey down my throat and made me say those terrible, terrible things."
Oh, that's what it was, dude, growing up. Whenever I would fuck up, it's like those Mean Boys made me do it. But I'll tell you this, Eric, while I'm not a fucking maniac with a pint of whiskey, I will say...
Ooh.
Clink,
Clink, clink. Little basement clinking right there.
this is a freshly made martini I'm pouring for myself right now.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you remember the origins of the clink thing, I wouldn't necessarily want
Yeah.
to be calling back that I am the clink.
Listen, the butterfly effect episode, right? Is that the callback?
yes.
Eric,
Yes,
Eric
that
Stoltz. Eric
Yes.
Stoltz taking the kiddies down into the basement
Uh-huh.
for the movies.
Pouring it out.
That's
Pouring it out. I'm pouring it out.
that's a movie for a previous day.
Yes.
Today of days, North by Northwest,
Uh-huh.
Sir Alfred Hitchcock. My
best.
God.
Now,
He's
I
one of the
understand.
best.
Now, as I understand, I'm going to sit here and sip this martini for a second. But Steve
Sip it,
Sadak,
sip it.
this was the first time you saw this movie last night, man?
Yes, I want to just institute something. It's okay to not have seen a movie. I think
That's true.
You know,
Yeah,
there-
I agree.
everyone's got their blind spots. You know, what
I
mean?
would
You
know
can't
this
have
wasn't
seen-
accusatory, Steve.
No,
I
oh,
was
no,
just-
no.
Yeah.
That was up to you. That's just
Oh,
towards the moving going public, because we do love to be like, oh, you didn't see this, you didn't see that. You could say, hey man, you never saw that? No, I didn't. And it was great.
Right.
And I learned a lot. It was awesome, and I'm very glad we put this on the schedule because it's a very cool movie. Like this is one of those movies I was always kind of waiting to see on the big screen, like if it ever came back in a repertoire, just because I missed it. No, I'm pretty spotty with classic Hollywood as it goes. You know what I
Right.
mean? Classic Hollywood meaning movies that were made before X-Men 2000.
Well,
475.
you pick up a lot in the 70s. You're a 70s guy.
Yeah, I'm a 70s guy.
Yeah, but man, this movie. If I had a time machine, I'd go back to 1959. I wouldn't do any of that important stuff. I'd go back to 1959, and I'd see this at Radio City Music Hall, where it had 7 weeks in the theater there.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah, it had its the main premiere was in Chicago, and then they did the big Radio City premiere, which I was watching a bonus feature on the Blu-ray for this, and fucking packed. Like it was a lot of folks turning out the premiere at Radio City. The footage was fucking great. A thing I noticed this time around, way more on location footage than I initially thought.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
lot of New York in this movie, which is cool.
Yes.
I mean, It starts so beautiful, like having Hitchcock. I mean, just the credits are incredible with the green, and then like
the
all
Saul
lines.
Bass
Yeah,
credits,
yeah.
dude.
And then
Oh,
against
fantastic.
the building, and
Yeah,
how
and
it's
yes.
like along the corners of the building. It's just amazing.
But
It's incredible.
I mean, that's like literally what drives me nuts now is opening credits aren't allowed. It's so much cooler to not even know what fucking movie you're sitting down to watch. Like,
I hate it.
and then
I
at the
hate
end,
it too.
title card. Like, I got it, dude. Like, I kind of like the pomp and circumstance.
I do
Let's
too.
enjoy ourselves a little bit. It's a
And
movie, folks.
There's an art form to it. It looks fucking great. It pumps you up.
I mean, here's the thing. It pumps you up. You got this Bernard Herrmann score banging in your ears. It's like a fucking college football game is about to start with this movie.
Yes. Oh,
Well-
the score is incredible.
The score is beautiful, and that is a common thing now, where like the whole idea was like you used to like it was a good thing to have the audience
Yes.
settle into a movie and listen to a score, watch the credits, have that time. But now, because we are all about experience and like this is a real thing that's happening, like like the urgency is everything that people care about. Like they're like, here, just you're in it immediately. Like no,
Where's the fucking urgency in She-Hulk? God damn it, just get to it. I need it.
Wait a second. Am I in Gotham City right now? Holy shit. There was no title card. I might be in Gotham City. Like, you know,
Real. It's really real.
like I absolutely hate that. I mean, like sometimes it's a cool way to start a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Not everything has to have there's no uniformity in movie. There shouldn't be. But now the trend is almost never have a title card, almost never
Well-
have credits.
well, because those things became lame.
Yes.
That was the major thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
that they were time wasting or anything like that. They're fine wasting time. It had to do with fucking. It was lame. It was if you start the movie immediately, that means you mean business. And
I'll
like,
tell you what.
bullshit.
You're totally right. And you know what I think is a great example of what we're talking about here, where it does a disservice to the material. Because I think the show is great. I'm fully caught up on it now. Andor.
Yes.
There is just a fucking tiny bit of music, and like the card comes up and just says Andor, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Come on, man! Like, do
Well-
the material a favor and have a credit sequence that goes along with the quality of what you're putting out.
That's fair but I think what Andor is trying to do is trying to be different than all those other Star Wars shows. And I feel like we were really like the Book of Boba Fett had too much pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
that's my impression. Uh,
I'm not gonna mother.
I mean, I like that we start this. Hitchcock, we see him at the tail end of the credits. He can't get on a bus. He
This
absolutely.
is
Yes.
the bus.
But
Good
my
cameo.
immediately one of my favorite things is as the movie is starting, there's all likenesses are coincidental warning for North by Northwest.
Yes,
by
which
the way, which you all know has happened to millions of people that they just end up.
this is
fighting
based
on
on a
Mount-
work of fiction. That's
Yes.
what you mean.
Yeah,
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Well, because there's some guy named George Kaplan sitting there. Like, it's really real. They're talking about me. You know?
That's not how it happened. That's not how I went to the Plaza Hotel. I got a
Boy.
nice room.
It must be really heartbreaking for George Kaplan then to keep watching the movie, and then when the professor's like, "There's no one actually named George Kaplan. It's a fake person. He's nothing. It's not real." That guy's like, "Oh my god!"
And then he starts
what do you mean?
dissipating in the theater.
I'm dissipating. Somebody help me.
no, they're mixing it up. It was Gabe Kaplan they were looking for, the star of Welcome Cotter.
I see. Of course.
Hey, Mr. Carter, man, why you got bourbon all over your shirt?
Mr. Cotter, I got some microfilm for you. Here you go.
This this movie, it's kind of great because if you had to point someone toward a Hitchcock like starter thing, it's this movie, because it kind of combines so much of a lot of his movies, like the Wrong Man idea, the people on the run trying to clear their name idea. Of course, this is a very famous Hitchcock blonde in this movie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot here that it's like, this is sort of representative of a lot of what's going on here. And I love this start of him just in the Oak Room at the Plaza Hotel meeting his advertising buddies. And it's just that great, like, the fucking goons are there looking for this guy,
Yes.
Kaplan. The bellboy's calling out Kaplan, and oops, Cary Grant as Roger Thornhill
Right.
calls to the same guy because he's looking to make a telephone call.
A telegram to his secretary to call his mother, who is the secretary thinks is at a certain place, but she's actually at her friend's house playing bridge.
Yep.
And this is an urgent matter because the texting doesn't exist. We got to get the secretary.
Well, yeah, because he's got
mother. Yeah.
They have a dinner resi, dude, and then him and
Yeah.
mom are going to the Winter Garden Theater that night.
And before that, we had a fun little walk and talk. And Cary Grant is fucking phenomenal, and all of his little things peppered throughout this movie, and even just him saying like, "Oh, I feel heavyish." Think thin. Write that down.
yeah.
Well, it's what we're always talking about, right? Star appeal, like
Yes.
real, like actual, like using every word as a instant to do something new with it, like to read something in a new, interesting way. And I think it's very important to say that it starts with him. He's an advertising exec. That's what he
Yes.
does, and we begin in the advertising world. And he's telling, like, there's this whole bit about gold chocolates, like they need to have the chocolates with the gold foil because they're the ones that look the best. There is, to me, this really interesting aesthetic comment that's going on there where he's like, this guy is a guy who believes in aesthetics and believes that, like, that's all you need, really. If you can sell something, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And then he is literally put in, like, all that matters is the veneer. And then he's put in a situation where people just believe the veneer about him.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
a good point. Yeah.
And then it's essentially like also for Hitchcock, who had gotten the way he is because of aesthetic values that, of course, the Cahiers du Cinema, there's a bunch of fucking reasons why. But like he's questioning himself, I think, a little bit in this.
Yeah.
And like being like, is this all that matters? And this, I also kind of think this is the comedy side to the coin that is The Wrong Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
this is the comedy versus the drama that is The Wrong Man, which is my favorite Hitchcock.
Which,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I mean, watching this last night for the first time, it was just, I agree with everything you just said, Chris. And I do kind of agree with the movie starness of Cary Grant. And then reading today that Jimmy Stewart was super interested in the role. And I think I love Jimmy Stewart in Hitchcock movies, but I think that he would have given a little too much lived in realness to
Yes.
it. I think that,
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? Like, and not to say that Cary Grant couldn't have done that, but Cary Grant has this witty, charming, stylish thing, a lot of artifice that makes it much more believable in this character, much more engaging, entertaining in this movie, because this movie is just a huge spectacle. Not just a huge
yeah.
spectacle,
Jimmy
but this
Stewart,
movie is a huge
A
spectacle.
self-aware spectacle.
with
Yes.
Jimmy Stewart, you'd be more like preoccupied with whatever this guy's inner life is.
Exactly.
And the other thing, too, that makes it, sort of like triply fascinating is that, of course, Cary Grant is the perfect person for this because Cary Grant in itself is a fake person. His name was
Right, yeah.
Archibald Leach.
Uh-huh.
He was born in England. And when he started coming up in Hollywood, he learned to toss away most of that accent, calling himself Cary Grant. So, like, the whole notion of this guy, Roger Thornhill, that he's playing, having to pretend as an advertising executive who entices and fools people for a living, has to go then and entice and fool people into thinking that he is this George Kaplan person. When in fact, Cary Grant spent his entire life convincing people in one way or another that he was Cary Grant and separating himself from Archie.
It's so interesting. I keep thinking about Don Draper during this conversation.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely, man.
Matthew
No
Weiner
doubt
has
about
seen this movie for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I-
100
But
times.
I do love the walk and talk. And it's just like, call my mother, make sure this. And I mean, like, and he's like, oh, said. And I mean, the sexuality, I was kind of surprised by the sexuality of this movie last night.
It's a hot
like,
little picture.
It's a hot little picture. I mean, he's just like, oh, yes, send a little thing to that Geraldine or whatever the hell, whatever side piece he's got. He's like, a little box of candies and, a little sweet nothing for her sweet nothings. That's right. I'm eating bucks in this film.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you
dude.
believe it?
Her sweet nothings and all her other sweet parts. Good
Man.
God. You're right, Steve. This dude's planning to eat ass tonight. He's gonna go out to dinner with his mother. They're gonna go to the Winter Garden Theater to see a play that we're told he's very much looking forward to.
Sure.
And then he's gonna drop that old blue hair off at home and he's gonna go eat ass.
Exactly. Oh, do you mind if I ring you around 11 o'clock and start eating you out around 11:15? Is that all right?
I don't
Oh.
need any hors d'oeuvres. We could just get right to it.
I'll start at the ass and work my way up to the pussy.
We'll listen to AM radio and chill. That's what we're going to do.
Send a note down to the concierge at 11:15. I want to start eating your ass. Call them up and send a reminder.
The Yankee game is in extra innings. We're going to listen to it, and I'm going to eat your ass.
I'm gonna be singing Minnie the Moocher into your favorite moocher.
DiMaggio's at the plate.
Yeah, but yeah, he does get picked up by these honest to goodness goons. It at the Oak Room, and it is very Don Drapery, like, you know, old ad man stuff, because they all have Manhattans in front of them, and he's like, the guy, his contact is like, oh, you know, we were waiting for you, Thornhill. We always say that, you know, you don't start well, but you're always there to finish it. So it's like, this guy can fucking put him back.
Oh, dude, absolutely. He's got some other line because they're sitting down, and he's like, one of the guys is like, oh, we're a little ahead of you there. Hope you don't mind. And he's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. That won't be for long. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to sit there. You're going to fucking pound booze with these guys.
Damn, that was the lie. I know it's like there's a lot of problems with this society, but
Sure.
the idea that we were just totally cool. Yeah, just go have 3-4 Manhattans for lunch. We need to return.
Well, yeah.
What the hell? Why, you know?
Well,
why
that's when I used to work for Bryant Park. The lady I would work for was every fucking lunch she would be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go have 2 Guinnesses. I'll be back." And she's like, I had a shot of Jameson this time. Not a problem. That was literally every time.
That's awesome.
Holy shit.
So like it didn't change that much, but this scene is important because if you don't have this scene, I would at least believe that drinking a whole glass of bourbon is probably going to kill you. Just straight up pouring like a whole fucking pure glass of it down your throat in one gulp. Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's dead. That's what happened to him is he's dead.
But they do, I mean, these dastardly fucks do something so evil to him, and they drag him all the way out to Long Island, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, it's Glen Cove.
There goes my entire weekend. How the fuck am I going to get back from here?
They're still in Nassau County. It's pretty close.
Don't you people have a king still? Can I talk to him? Will he pardon me?
I gotta show my passport to go down to Long Island.
But yeah, man, what a fucking torturous thing. You're kidnapped and brought out to Long Island. They go to this huge estate.
Jigsaw wouldn't do that, man. Jigsaw would not take you to Long Island.
No.
Oh my God. No, I would never. I mean, that's like, you get out on the LIE, you get stuck in traffic. I mean, that's your whole night. Absolute. When am I going to get to the torturing and the game playing?
Honestly, I don't even go to I don't even fuck with Staten Island either.
Well, okay, let me cards on the table here. Labor is pretty cheap out there. So I make all my death machines out there. I source them out there, but other than that, I never go to the place. No, they ship back.
Oh yeah, I got a guy out on the island, makes all my traps. Insufferable Islanders fans.
We're at the Thornwood estate, and Thornwood, who is that? Where are we? Oh, what's going on here?
Townsend, actually.
Yes,
Townsend. He's
Thornhill,
Thornhill.
yeah.
Excuse me. Yes,
A lot of names flying around.
Townsend. I drank that martini way too fast.
I'm actually thinking about leaving the podcast for a minute to get that bottle back over here.
I'll tell you why it's a little weird that you don't remember it's Townsend, because in the front of the house,
Yes.
they have a fucking almost a billboard of the name Townsend.
Well, that's how you show you got a lot of money, dude. You got a big
I guess.
house and a big sign.
I kind of wish they had one of those for whoever the pervert was who owned the Eyes Wide Shut mansion. Like there's just like
totally.
Cunningham in big lights as he walks up to the gate.
And in the car, him and the goons, like, you know, like the whole movie is just, you know, all these bon mots from Cary Grant that are all fun and great. And, you know, like, but the effect of this scene is basically him being like, I am not a pilot, and them keep being like, and I told you those, you flyboys crack me up. Like literally, he keeps like, I am not a spy. I don't know who Kaplan is. I can show you my ID. I can do nope. You have to be this guy because you stood up at the same time when someone said his name. Has to be.
This is another thing too, where it's like, you know, because he's a big advertising so-and-so. If this were nowadays, he'd be able to pull up on his phone some article from like, you know,
totally.
Advertising Weekly or whatever. Him getting a Clio award or something like that. You know,
Yeah. And then, but like when you have
Well, here. I'll prove it to you. Here's my Instagram account. Oh no, that's right. I'm AssEater96 on that. Apologies.
Here, I'm clearly Roger Thornhill holding a Webby Award.
Not only did I win this Webby, I signed up for and nominated myself for it.
I worked tirelessly at nominating myself.
So yes, anyway, so we're out on Long Island. We're at the Townsend residence, and in comes motherfucking James Mason playing Philip Van Dam, but at the moment he's pretending to be, or at least Cary Grant is making the assumption that he is Mr. Townsend.
yes, Lester Townsend.
Yes, and there's a lot more here of like, when I step on your foot and say that I am not who you think I am, you know.
Well, yeah, we're going to get into accent trouble here because James. Oh, hello there. Did you?
Oh yes,
That's exactly what a spy would say. Exactly. Like you can't fool me, man.
These
Stop trying
games
to.
must we?
Interesting, Mr. Kaplan, but everyone knows only a spy would wear a gray suit.
Many spies, you understand, have ass-eater accounts on Instagram as well. They're called burners, Mr. Thornhill.
It is hard to be this good looking and wear these suits and not be assumed to be a spy. And obviously, we should say this is a pre-James Bond James Bond. I think the books were out, obviously, right?
yeah.
But
The
none
books-
of the movies
books
had
were
come out yet. So like this is very much in that kind of globe-trotting
Big
milieu.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But it's almost more interesting, the mistaken man thing, because it's like it's not a guy that has all the answers. He's just winging it, you know.
It's truly a life-threatening. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
that's the humor of it, and like it's not globetrotting; it's America trotting. I mean, it's just it's all in America, but because we have these big set pieces that we actually use, like and actually take time to build up and deploy, it feels that big. It feels like
Yes.
something like James Bond, where you're going to fucking Trinidad and Tobago, like shit like that.
oh, Mr. Thornhill, am I to believe that a 55-year-old man such as yourself actually has dinner and theater tickets with his mother? It's a Friday night, sir. I don't buy that for a moment.
She's a very entertaining gal. She's been with me since I was born. You understand?
Is that right?
But yeah, like basically it's just this back and forth. Like, I'm not a spy. I don't know what you're talking about. We know that Mr. Kaplan has stayed in this hotel and that hotel and will soon be staying in Chicago and then moving on to what is it there? South Dakota.
South Dakota,
Rapid
yes.
City.
It's such a great thing where James Mason right here is like, look, we've been tracking you. You know, last week you were in this hotel and that hotel. And yeah, like it is cool. Like he straight up tells you all the spots we're going to visit in the movie, you know, minutes and hours before we get to some of them. I love this little bit of setup.
Yes,
here.
we're doing America trotting this time. all over the great states, Long Island, South Dakota, the train station in Chicago.
I still love it. You know, and his whole monument thing, obviously Mount Rushmore in this, but like, was it Sabotage or Saboteur that ended on the Statue of Liberty?
Saboteur, I believe.
That's
Yeah.
another great one of a dude falling.
Dude fucking eat shit off the fucking top of the Statue of Liberty. The cops and what's her face? Kim Novak eat shit in Vertigo. They fall from high structures.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Dude
Oh,
loved
God,
a
I
good
love it.
high fall.
Oh, it's so good watching people fall off of buildings.
Well, I mean, he was really. I mean, Hitchcock was master of many things, but falling was definitely one of them. I do like that this whole thing hinges on, Mr. Thornhill. It seems that Mr. Kaplan will be going to Pittsburgh tomorrow. I was like, I have never been to Pittsburgh in my life.
And it's called the Terrible Towel because you wave it around.
He's saying that he says that Pittsburgh is one of the places he was in last week, and that's
Yeah.
why he's like, I've never been to Pittsburgh. What a disgusting town.
The idea-
Fries on sandwiches? That's stupid.
Sign me up.
Why would I eat a
Hell yeah.
garbage plate? A plate of garbage. I wouldn't eat a plate of garbage.
Oh, Mr. Thornhill, you're confusing Pittsburgh with Rochester again.
They're so goddamn close.
No matter where you serve it, I would eat a plate of garbage.
I've never been near a steel factory. I never will go near a steel factory. I've never been to Pittsburgh. God damn it.
The hometown of Andy Warhola. Are you fucking kidding, man?
But I love Landau kind of coming in here, creepy as all get out.
Oh,
It's
yeah, dude.
handsome
Leonard.
as all get out is too. Like let's be
Yeah,
honest. Like,
yes.
it's a creepy handsome. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a rare feat to pull it off, but he does do it.
Well, and it could have happened at some point early in his career. I'm not a Landau head. I mean, I liked the guy, but did he ever play a vampire? Because he's looking like he could be a vampire in this
I mean,
movie.
famously
He
he
would,
won
right?
one. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi, but that's
Well, no. Come on.
yeah, an actual bloodsucker.
Yeah, the real deal. Nosferatu.
I don't believe so, but that is a missed opportunity. We should.
It
get that.
is.
We should have gotten one of those.
I mean, I got the movie rolling here on the TV in the studio, and like I'm looking at him right now. That's a vampire face.
Yeah.
It's vampire hair. It's a vampire
Well-
face, and not for nothing, some vampire teeth.
Well, yeah, he is more of the Nosferatu type than the Dracula type, though.
Yes.
It's the long limbs that really do it, and
Yeah.
the eyes.
Creepy.
So it would have worked, I think.
Yeah.
So he refuses to give up the ghost because there is no ghost to give up. He doesn't know what the fuck these dudes are talking about. And James Mason is like, all right, have it your way, fine. And this is the pint of whiskey, the whole bottle down his throat. Oh, God.
Oh, Mr. Thornhill, okay, you won't give it up, Mr. Kaplan, that's fine. We are going to kill you in the most unorganized way possible. We're just going to completely fuck it up, you understand?
They really botched this, dude.
Well, don't
amazing.
worry, we'll be botching it the entire film. That incredibly iconic cornfield sequence makes no sense in a way of killing someone. Yes, quite.
There's not enough moving parts in this death fake. We have to pile on more and more. So the plan is they're going to get him drunk, then drive 2 cars out to this windy and aim it. They have 2 cars. They're going to put him drunk in one of them and like drive it halfway towards a big turn.
Yes.
I don't know where you're finding these fucking cliffy, winding roads out on the island, by the way.
And also, this is, I guess, he must be a gardener and a secret guy because, like, a spy, because he does gardening work later. But this guy also knows how to fake deaths. On top of all that.
I think what's the interesting thing about the gardener, later in the film when the professor's involved, he mentioned, when Townsend at the UN says that the house was closed up, there was no one there but the gardener and his wife living there. So the gardener and that woman, Anna, I suppose, maybe are instrumental in this, but they were undercover working as a gardener and housekeeper.
Yes, I guess maybe it's like they have those roles so that they know when the house is open so that Van Damme can come in and do his business. Or the other, I think, cooler notion is that they just fucking killed those people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That makes
you know
sense.
what I mean?
Keeping up appearances. Yeah.
Exactly.
You need to know how to do a little bit of light gardening just to kind of,
And to be fair, all we see this motherfucker doing is just trimming some shit.
Yeah.
I can pretend to trim shit.
Exactly.
You couldn't fucking poison the guy and just leave him in the empty house?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like,
guess
what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's also the 50s. Like, the autopsies were there, but I mean, like, you don't have to worry about DNA and shit. Just
No,
break this guy's neck, put him in the car, and
Yep.
drive him off a cliff.
Yep.
But of course, because it's a Hitchcock movie, of course they have to fuck it up. And
But how thrilling is this sequence of him going down these windy roads? The soundtrack is amped to 11, and he's just like barely keeping awake, turning the car here and there.
Dude, it's just he's lucky that it's the late 50s and Roger Thornhill is so skilled at drunk driving in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, well, we talk about movies you could not make today. You could not show drunk driving excellence of this sort.
No way. Nope.
In a movie like today, you could not do it. It would have to end in tragedy.
Yes, you'd have to hit the biker at the end, which
Yes.
he instead, the bicyclist or whatever, he stops just in time.
Nice
Yes,
try,
and
Mr. Van Damme, but you never have seen me after the company Christmas party.
See you later, fuckface.
He's doing K-turns.
Watch me parallel park after a bottle of whiskey, you arrogant fuck.
You only gave me one bottle? I usually have one bottle plus a little stop down to the pharmacy to get some cocaine.
My powers are only getting stronger, Van Damme.
Keep throwing it at me, baby. I'll be invincible before dawn. The other thing that's awesome, too, is that he comes to that complete stop, doesn't hit the cyclist, and then the cop rear ends him.
Yes.
No way you're making that today.
So I guess, well, it's funny then that Jean-Luc Godard doesn't like this. These cars hitting each other. I mean, come on. He would like it.
That's true.
I would think. You would think.
You know what? I think that dead son of a bitch secretly liked this movie.
Maybe he did. I mean, who knows? He was just like, oh, car crash. I like car crash.
They both you boys made good movies wherever you are now.
Exactly.
Okay.
You all did both. You both did good.
They became good friends in hell. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Well, Godard's only been dead for a few weeks, and he's already making good friends in hell. I like
Yeah, of
that.
course.
I thought that was going to be a too soon, but complimenting his social
no.
skills instead. I like that.
No.
Yeah, so he is arrested for this drunk driving. I love this entire sequence in this fucking Glen Cove police station, him calling his mother, and this is like, man, you're fucking 55, dude. You're calling mommy when you get arrested.
Twice divorced, and she knows all the, I guess, lawyers to call.
I mean, I guess that's true. He doesn't have a put upon wife at the moment.
And this is kind of a divorced guy's dream of adventure.
Yes.
Like this
Yes.
is like you meet this hot woman on a train, and like you get mistaken for one of the coolest guys in the world, a spy. Like I mean, like that's honestly what divorced guys wish their lives were worth. It's not fucking working to manage. They're not being the assistant manager at Burger King. They're fucking working, out in the world.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, back in the day, you had such a more of a formal society where everyone's wearing these suits and stuff. Nowadays, a Burger King employee couldn't be mistaken for a spy. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, although that would be if people are looking for a good reboot opportunity, I think the Burger King Corporation could take it.
I keep telling you, I sizzle patties for a living.
North by Northwest with cheese.
Yes, please.
Yes, that's right. No, you got me mixed up with the other man. I'm wearing a Deadpool T-shirt. You see, he should be wearing a Deathstroke T-shirt.
Yes, Mr. Thornhill, and the secret code word is supersize me.
Yeah. A DoorDash to George Kaplan with 3 Monster Energy drinks in it, and it's just to the wrong guy. He's like, oh, I need those so bad. I need a Monster.
Yes, mother, I told them that both superheroes wear masks.
He does, yeah. So like, there's this whole. I love this this test. Like, they want to draw blood because he's so wasted, which is kind of fun. I
Yeah.
guess we don't do breathalyzers obviously yet.
No, we got
Yeah.
the cop. The cops drawing the fucking line on the floor.
Yeah,
They're getting ready to do this old school, and I love where he's just like, "Doctor, I am gassed."
He's also saying that we need to charge, Mr. Townsend here with assault with a gun, sports car, and bourbon.
Well,
So many great little lines in this.
I'm not sure if we said already, but there's the best line is when he's like, "Mother, this is your son. I drank a whole quart of whiskey. No chaser. Of course not.
No, they didn't give me a chaser.
I thought that was so good.
Which, like, you know what, Martin Landau? That would have been the considerate thing to do, dude.
Yeah.
How about a glass of water on the side?
Or even
Yeah.
a fucking beer. You know what I mean? Here's a Bud Heavy. something. Just to
Blood heavy.
calm the tummy down a little bit.
Exactly. You want this guy to drive off a cliff, don't you? But also, Chris, to your point, like him acting just with no one on the phone is one of the highlights of the movie for me. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
this extends into like tomorrow morning and says who? Sergeant Emil Klinger. Emil? And then he's like, no, I didn't believe it either, mother.
Well, that's. I was wondering, is that just because it's I assume it's a funny name, but I
Yeah.
also was like, Emil's a German name, and I was wondering if
Yeah.
that was a thing.
I think that might be it. Like,
Actually,
Okay.
that might be a reference because Long Island used to have a lot of Germans on it back in the day.
Including the Long Island Hitlers, if I remember
Yes,
right.
yes. And there's,
Yes.
I believe there was even a whole like town that had like Hitler Strasse and shit way out east.
So, in a thing that only happens in the pictures, this dude who's arrested for being the most wasted person on Long Island the night before is like, Judge, trust me. Just let me, my mother, and 3 cops go to this house and we'll prove to you that I'm telling the truth. Fucking yeah, right.
Well, it just seems not only that he's got a stolen car. You know what I mean? Like it's this thing where I'm kind of curious. Like at some point, the mother says like, "Oh, just pay the $2 fine." And I know that she's
Yes.
being, that's sort of more of a Lucille Bluth, how much does a banana cost kind of a joke. But
Is
I mean,
it though? I mean, it's not
That's
fucking.
fair,
It's the
I
late
don't know.
50s, dude.
Yeah.
And it's drunk driving, which we did not care about really.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's like they know he's wasted, and it's like, all right, man. The only reason we're really giving you guff this time is because that cop car ran into you.
Yes.
If you didn't cause damage to our property, it would be a hey, rich-looking white guy, sleep this off and walk home
in the
next
drunk
day.
tank. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, back at the time, they had tickets for drunk driving. That's what you got. I mean, it wasn't. I don't even think you got. I think it was part of their book of tickets. Is they were just like, oh, a drunk driver. Here you go, $10, please.
Yeah, no, I think now my grandfather told I never met the man. This is a story passed down. There was some story about I think it might have happened to a friend of his, but that
Ooh.
means it's probably happened to him.
Mm.
Where you're driving drunk, and then the Chicago police pull you over. This is the 1950s, late 1950s, and what they do is, oh yeah, we'll drive you home, move over. One of the officers will drive your car to your house, and then we'll just be on our way. Good night, sir.
Yeah,
Honk
that'd be great.
honk.
Yes.
Talk to you later.
That's
If you're the right color.
exactly,
Yes,
that's being
absolutely.
a white man in the 1950s.
I'm not driving his car. No. That's not. No. I'm not getting in there. Could get
So
on me.
he fucking debases himself back at this house, and it's like, oh yeah, this is where they spilled all the whiskey all over the couch, and then no stain. Oh, they must have cleaned it. Well, this cabinet here, you see, this is where all the booze was kept, the fullest bar you'll ever see in your life. And he opens that, and it's just books everywhere.
Which is funny because it's a cabinet that shouldn't have books in it, right?
No,
No.
exactly. Well, I kind of want to see the Martin Landau scene, like he'll be coming back, and I'll have to make sure that none of the things that were here before are there. Like
I'm
he's just
gonna-
moving things around for no reason.
I'm gonna have to call my contractor right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack, can you come here right now? I need to turn a bar into a library.
Does anyone have a Tide pen for this couch?
But this performance by Mrs. Townsend, this fake Mrs. Townsend, pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, that we learn at the end of the movie is Van Damme, James Mason's character. It's his sister,
Yeah.
because he's got that weird line. It was like, oh, and by the way, tell my sister she did such a good job portraying Mrs. Townsend.
And the whole thing of like, oh, Mr. Thornhill, you had such a good time at the party, but you got so. Did you borrow Barbara's Mercedes?
Yes.
No, I didn't borrow Barbara's Mercedes.
And
I love the way they both say Mercedes in
it's
this
so
movie.
good. And then, where can we find Mr. Townsend? Well, he's addressing the General Assembly at the UN. Of
course.
So he's addressing the General Assembly.
Oh man. Yeah, but so he now has his next task like set out. Okay. He's addressing the General Assembly, and when he's in and also he learns also that Kaplan quote unquote is staying back at the plaza. So he goes back to the island, or from the island, he gets back to the city, and he and his mother go to the plaza. And I love this, like, he's given his mother like $50. He's literally paying this woman, not like give this other person this money I'm giving you. It's I'm giving you this money, mother, to go fucking like charm the attendant at the desk of the Plaza Hotel to get this room key.
It's amazing that he's bribing his mother to
Totally. I want to see this lady turn on the sex appeal, by the way.
By the way,
Get this bellhop to start smelling around.
I just did an inflation calculator.
$2,000.
What it's 500.
500.
509.
$50?
Yeah, in 1959, $50 in 2022 is $509.98.
Good
Oh
Lord.
my God, that is a bribe and a half.
You hear that? So, mother, you make sure he can sniff your cleavage, Let him get real in there. I don't care, mother. We need to do this.
Let him get his nose down into that valley, mother.
Please, mother. Yes, the woman who birthed me. Mother, will you let this man hit on you?
The woman playing this mother character was named Jessie Royce Landis. She was like 6 or 7 years older than Cary Grant.
Yeah, I mean, Cary Grant is not like His mother died in the fucking Blitzkrieg, dude. Like, this is not.
My mother learned the alphabet and then had me. It was a wonderful time.
But she's your classic, like,
yeah.
you know, uptown, ooh, my, you know, kind of a woman.
It almost feels like they cast him last, but they didn't, obviously, right? But it's just he's sort of playing younger, right? Or is he?
Oh,
is that
big
what,
time.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Is
think
he's
yeah,
55 here or so.
He is 55 or 56 when they're making this movie. And for the record, because unsurprisingly, it's not age appropriate, Eva Marie Saint was around 35. So we're talking like a 20-year difference.
Oh, interesting.
That's not the
She's
end of the
playing
world.
26 in this, or at least so
Yes.
she says.
Yes, the character at least says that she's
I finished
26.
the whiskey, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah, oh, that's what that was. Got it.
Yeah, it's been gone for a few. It's been gone for a few.
Okay.
I love the scene of them inspecting Kaplan's room, and he's fucking like talking shit about a fake person is so funny. He's like, "My God, look at all the dandruff this disgusting pig has."
Well, mother, it seems I've tried on this suit. Mother, it seems that this was a short king that we were with. Well, yeah, the shorter man. He didn't have a.
He tries to try on Kaplan's suit in this room, and it is just a little boy's suit. Was fucking Danny DeVito playing Kaplan? Like,
Man, please get him in here. Get the man. Well, no, he's
Well, I've
probably
never
very
seen-
young.
Hold on. These slacks are the waist is 51 and the length is 26. How does that make any sense?
what is this? The Penguin? Actually, like, who's a little tiny guy? Mickey Rooney could play Kaplan if Kaplan were
Oh
real.
yeah, he's kind of stout too. Well, he becomes stout in '59. He might have been okay, right?
No,
Hey.
I think he was always small.
Well, I mean, like he got fat,
Oh, I see.
but like he's in some movies. Like what was it? Quicksand was one of them. One of those older movies. And
yeah, it's a little handsome little short
he
guy.
was a
yeah.
handsome little short. He was a short king, Chris.
Mickey, Cary Grant, what do you think about coming and working on a Hitchcock movie and letting me make fun of you? Huh? You'd be the short one and I would make fun of you. How about that? You play a guy named George Kaplan. No, I also play him, but you're the bad George Kaplan. You're the worst of the two. You're the short one. How about that, huh? Mickey, did you hang up? Mickey?
No, there's just a lot of like back and forth. He brings this maid in. He's like, "Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen Kaplan?" She's like, "Yes, I'm looking at him right now." It's like, "No, you idiot. That's not what I'm saying."
He sounds like such a crazy person in this scene. He's like, "When did you meet me?" Well, when you were opening the door just now. So it was right now when you met me.
It's right now.
Yes.
What's happening now is happening now. And then he does it to like another fucking bellboy or something because this other dude comes in and he's like, "Tell me something. When was the first time you laid those gross eyes on my beautiful face?" And he's like, right now. And he's like saying something about like, "Oh, well, I'm always sending my suits down and shit. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, you always just call and you say to go into the room and get it and you're never there." Like this guy, I feel like the hotel staff has been squawking about this dude in this room for like weeks on end. You know, how do we never see Kaplan? Did you see Kaplan? Oh, you went up to Kaplan's room? Was he there? No. Yeah, I didn't see him either. This is weird.
And the
Invisible
CIA just
man.
wasting money to get all these suits pressed for fucking no
look,
one.
Exactly. I mean, like we find out later, like this whole decoy scenario in a scene where everyone's just sitting around in a boardroom being like, "You want to do exposition? Yeah, we'll do exposition," and they get it done. And but yeah, like the rigmarole of the suits, like I don't know, man. Maybe do you think like that you know Leonard Martin Landau is like, he didn't get his suits clean. He must be a fake person. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Maybe, I guess, maybe
Yeah.
that's the attention to detail. And it seemed like in those movies back then, everyone was getting their suits pressed whenever you went to a hotel.
Well, Lester,
Well-
he's a short guy. I think we should be looking for a Mickey Rooney type. Is what we're looking for George Kaplan. Yeah, no, that's true. That's what's happening. Thornhill be damned.
That's what they should be doing, is killing every short person in that hotel.
Find them all out.
So I mean, I love when they're going down, they're trying to fucking escape the hotel because someone calls up to the room and it's like, "Are you Kaplan? My. First you're not a real person and now you're in your own hotel room." And so he calls back down to the operator and it turns out, the call was coming from inside the hotel.
Yeah.
So they book it out. And I love this fucking scene in the elevator because like they're trying to get on the one elevator. The goons get off, see them, and immediately get on. And this dude's like breathing on Cary Grant. And this mother, just with the fucking awkward, you gentlemen aren't really trying to kill my son, are you? And then like the whole elevator car erupting in nervous laughter.
And he's like, well, all right, mother, I won't be going to the Winter Garden Theater with you, but I'll definitely leave you alone for Spies to Murder. And he just like, he ditches his mother with these dudes who absolutely could cut her throat.
Well, wouldn't you?
Totally.
Now, mother, let me ask you something. Are you okay with them removing some of those fingernails? Because that's what's going to happen.
What about those beautiful gold teeth?
Do you like drinking water really fast?
What if you
I
had
hope you do.
a T-shirt over your face when you were doing it?
My dear boy, what's a t-shirt?
Oh, you know, mother, the American GIs are wearing them now. So brash.
Mother, you know, a dish towel, anything. Yeah, anything will work, you know, but just you're okay with that happening to you, right? Because I have to go. I have to go to the UN. Well, by the way, he goes to the UN. A cabbie takes him, and this used to be something that a cabbie used to have. Is the talent to get away from somebody.
I'm being followed.
Exactly.
Can you do something about it? Yes, I can.
There used to be this talent. There used to be this talent in New York City and Chicago. You used to have this.
We need
but
to
now,
return.
Guess what? Uber fucking blanketed it. It's gone.
That's
It's
the thing
gone.
is you need that's why that medallion fee was so high, Chris.
Yes.
It's to get the medallion, you needed to go through all these different courses. It meant that these guys could lose the mafia. You
So
know?
what you're gonna
Or the
need
cops.
to do is you gotta get your license. You gotta pass your getaway course. That's a 3-week course, and that's gonna also include getting away from the cops in case they really got the money.
You got to remember all 20 secret garages around the city where you could pull into in a moment's notice and get your cab painted a different color.
And then you come out and the stars are gone and you're free.
Now, if it turns out a rich man happens to be a superhero, the flat fee is $200 for you to keep his secret and let him change in the back of your vehicle.
I mean, the other thing is, as far as like Uber and shit goes, man, there's plenty of times where I'm downtown or something and, you know, I could easily call, you know, just hail a cab. But a lot of those dudes ruined it for themselves because the
That's
amount of
true.
times I had to be like, you know, explaining where to go or
Yeah.
like, no, you're going the wrong way. You got to go this way. Like it got to a point where it was like, if some motherfucker is driving me and the little computer's telling where to go, there's less of a chance I have to be New York City tour
It's
guide.
very true. Recently, like a few months back, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give those yellow cabs a real shot. Like,
yeah.
I need to get back into that. Those are the real people here or whatever. And I did. And he drove me completely in the opposite direction of where I was going.
Well, okay, guys, this is a problem. I mean, it's a communication issue, like usually. What you have to do is ask them, can you get away from the guy behind me? Can you get away from the car behind me?
Chris, that might be what was happening. I told him where to go, and he was trying to lose a tail, so he went really out of the way to try to lose that tail. Yeah, they won't know where you're going to end up going, and neither will you.
No.
So he's looking for Townsend at the UN. We do have this fucking awesome guerrilla style establishing shot
Yes.
of Cary Grant getting to the UN. They were not allowed to film there. And as the story goes, Hitchcock got some sort of like laundry truck or like a plumbing truck or something like that. And they set up a camera inside it. And like they had Cary Grant set up and it was like, open the sliding doors, start rolling. Cary runs up the stairs. And in the shot, they fucking even got real UN security guards. Eat shit, folks.
Very nice.
It's great. I mean, I you know, even in the UN, I just love all this. The little cafeteria or wherever he stabs this dude in.
No, totally.
doesn't
One of
stab
two
this dude.
cafeterias in this movie.
Fake stab. Well, Eric, that's the problem. So they go into the United Nations. He's like, could you get me Mr. Townsend, please? Could you please call him? And Mr. Townsend comes up, and he's like, oh, what's this all about? Well, you're me? Wait, no. Oh, you talk to another me? I'm not Townsend. What?
I gotta say, the real Townsend is really, really patient with this fucking well-dressed kook, man.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, Are you Mr. Townsend? Yes, I am. The Townsend that lives at whatever address, Glen Clove, Long Island? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Well, I was at your house last night. My house has been boarded up. I'm here in the city. I've been in the city for the last month while we're in session. Uh-huh. And what about your wife? And this is where he steps in it, dude. This guy's like, it's very painful, but my wife has been dead for years. What the fuck is this about, dude?
Well, I also don't believe that this motherfucker wouldn't hear like, there's people in your house. He's like, it's those homeless people. I knew it. We got to get rid of all of them. We have to get rid of them all. They've taken over my fucking house. I knew it.
What a terrible way to die. Being like having a really confusing conversation and then having a knife thrown at your back. Like
Totally.
you're dying. Like, what was that all about?
It's awful, man, because it's like, what was that all about? Plus, did something happen to my house? Plus, oh man, my wife's dead.
Well,
Like
yeah.
just a fucking reminder that this dude's a widower on top of everything else.
Well, he's going to meet his wife because we get the knife chucking. My God, the knife chucking. Amazing.
Once he goes to hell, he's going to have to ask Satan specifically about what was going on with George Claplin and all that shit. I need to know.
Yeah.
What my wife's not here. She's upstairs. Shit. Okay. Well, yeah, I work for the United Nations. I probably should be here.
And here's the thing, man. I've learned this a ton. Never, if someone's got a knife in their back, just don't touch it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Just
Yeah.
leave it alone.
No.
You're
Well,
not gonna. You're not. Are you a doctor?
What
Are you a
if I-
medical doctor? Leave it in there.
Immediately grabbed it and pulled it out and then turned around for some guy to take a press photo.
I know. Just
It's
ooh,
so
what a
good.
scoop! Snap.
Dude, like just talk about fucking that up so hardcore.
Well, that's he like the guy falls over and like the way that Grant carries him, like he falls over in Cary Grant's arms. Cary Grant gets him with one arm, and then the other one goes directly on the knife. And I'm like, that's no way to support a dead man. I don't know what to tell you.
It would be funny if his spine just completely ripped out of his body.
Predator kill.
He's got the heart comes out through the back, and he's
Yeah.
on the knife. Like, oh no, this looks like a bad tattoo.
Flawless victory. Roger Thornhill wins.
Oh man. Is
Oh
there,
no, mother!
I-
Now I'm gonna have to fight Serax or Stryker or whoever else weirdo they've
No.
got down here in Outworld.
No, mother, I wasn't fighting a robot.
Now you listen
Well-
here, Mr. Shao Kahn.
Oh no, I'm fighting the Joker because we're both downloadable content of the new Mortal Kombat game.
It's Prince Goro? I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe Prince. No, I don't believe that.
All right, John Rambo, get ready to get fucked up.
They,
Gonna fuck up this Vietnam Veterans Day.
Now I have to rip out Jason Voorhees' spine. I can't believe it.
So you spend your summers killing teenagers, huh? How's that for you? That's fantastic.
We just made a new version of that horrible Space Jam movie. So there you go.
oh yeah,
It's all
totally.
downloadable content just hanging out together.
Well, you know what?
Actually, wait a minute. Can we make this work? Hang on a second. This movie, yes, it would work. This movie is now indeed under the ownership of Warner Brothers,
Wow.
There you go.
as is Freddy Krueger.
Uh-huh.
And fucking Jason Voorhees now, post part 8, then it left Paramount. So you got Jason Voorhees now because Freddy versus Jason was all under New Line. You could do this. Freddy versus Jason versus Roger Thornhill. It would work.
You know what they're going to do eventually is because so many movies are becoming that Ready Player One mold. We're going to
Yes.
eventually get like all of classic Hollywood in a movie together. You know,
Oh, man.
and that'll be the
So-
Oscar version of Space Jam or Ready Player One.
Oh,
So
boy.
it could be nominated for best animated feature of the year. I'll be fucking Tarkentown characters.
Yeah.
You know what? The sad thing is, dude, I'd watch it.
That's the
That's
thing is
it
that I
sucks.
would.
You got to
I
give
would
it a
watch
spin.
Of course, you want to see what all the scuttlebutt's about.
Exactly.
So now he's really on the run. We go to Grand Central Station. His picture is everywhere, and I just really love seeing Grand Central back here. It's pretty
Yes.
fucking dope.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
but
it's
actually
fucking
it's Grand Central Terminal, not
Oh.
station. Actually,
It's crazy looking at it, and like, save for obviously like digital signage, so much of it still looks totally the same.
Yes. I mean, honestly, it looks
The
beautiful
clock,
here.
the whole thing. Yes.
It looks better here.
Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah.
um
Yeah, there's no fucking Apple store in it.
yeah, they didn't etch through the marble walls to put the Apple logo into Grand Central quite yet. That didn't happen yet.
I'm not seeing a Cipriani luncheonette there.
Oh God. You know,
I have a few minutes before my train. Why don't I get a tasty meal at the Michael Jordan Steakhouse?
which is gone now and now replaced by what Chris said.
Yeah, but
Is Cipriani
I
replaced the
believe so.
Michael Jordan Steakhouse?
I mean, I don't know if it's Cipriani, but it's that caliber of like. That's what I want to do. I want to spend $80 on a hamburger before I get my train.
Boy, this sounds very convenient right here at the train station. Oh, what? It's terrible. Okay. Well, the service. Oh, and then people are talking to me and being rude.
$80 for a hamburger, and how much for the fries? 40. Sure.
I will.
How about
You know
make
what?
it 120?
You guys, now I'll reveal. Now this is a nice secret of Grand Central is the oyster
Ooh.
bar. You go in there. Don't
Yep.
go into the main oyster bar. There's a saloon area in the back that's like
Yep.
the old bastard bar version
Ooh.
of the oyster
Yes.
bar, and that is a refuge in all of that Grand Central garbage.
It is a strange as it gets time tunnel where if you go into the oyster bar, and yeah, it's back towards the bathroom, so you always see it if you go there. But it's this back room that is just the 1970s, like late 60s into the 70s. Like there's honest to goodness wood paneling.
Yes, it's all like wood paneling. There's like fucking paintings of ships and shit. And you can get, a nice cocktail drink. It's not bad option if you are riding the rails.
But he does. This is a thing I never understand how this works. He passes the train, the guy who's taking his ticket. And the guy's like, hey, wait a minute. What? Where's your ticket? I need your ticket. You're supposed to have a ticket on this train. And they cut to the next scene of him like running across the train, and you don't hear anything. That guy just disappeared into thin air.
He gave up. I think what you don't see, dude, is like on the stairwell, Cary Grant pushed that guy and he broke his neck on the stairs.
yeah. Pure
And
death.
that's how he was just easily able to get. Because you're totally right. This guy's like, "Excuse me, where's your ticket?" And he, man, talk about a line that would not fly these days. He's like, I just have to get down on the platform because I have some friends I need to see off.
Yeah, bullshit.
That dude would be fucking tased immediately.
Tased. I would also like, it's he starts wearing these sunglasses as his big disguise.
Yeah.
It's the late 50s. Put a hat on too.
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously. And also like later in the movie, he's shaving. Don't shave. Do not shave.
But if you don't
that's going
sha-
to help you out.
They'll probably just think he's like a hobo with a bindle then, and he'll be
Oh,
like
then they'll hang
arrested
him.
anyway.
Let's just hang him.
Yes. You have to be clean shaven in 1959.
Also, we need the shaving scene because that gives us a wonderful moment of Cary Grant giving himself a reverse Hitler.
Yes, he gives himself a reverse Hitler mustache in this movie, and it is quite awkward.
Well, he's a funny guy in this movie. He's being quote unquote a funny guy.
Well, you know what's? It's not too funny, but it is about as sexy as it gets. This fucking dinner with the two of them on the train.
Yes. And now, is this the most classy movie to feature the Tappan Zee Bridge in the background?
Yes.
I think
Probably.
it would almost have to
Because
be.
they're in that
Probably.
dining car, which another
Yep,
thing is like,
That's right. I'm going to keep calling it the Tappan Zee Bridge. God damn it. I won't be calling it the Cuomo Bridge.
thank you. I will always call it the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Dude, Eric, it's so crazy because your comment of that lined up with the shot on my television perfectly right now. I'm looking
Eerie.
at that since destroyed bridge, but yes.
Yes, I talked to a good friend of mine, Eric Siska, who always calls it Daddy's Bridge. And I think he's correct on that. That is his daddy's bridge.
Want to go
Cary Grant
under my
is
daddy's bridge?
Cary Grant is drinking this gimlet in this scene, and this is where I was watching it this afternoon. I've seen this movie like 30 times, but I was just like, oh man, what time is it? 1:30. Yeah, I can't be making a gin related drink that early.
Yeah.
And, well, he also should be. I mean, like, I know it was the time, and having a martini at 2 p.m. was having a Diet Coke at 2 p.m. now. But like at this point, if I'm on the run and all this shit, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I put the Gibson down. Maybe I get some trout in me. Feel it
I don't
heavy.
know.
Just have that. Oh,
You got to take the edge off, Chris.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
Chris, he's about to get the shakes because it's lunchtime.
It's
it's lunchtime. You know what? I'm gonna drink and I'm fuck, and I'm not going to worry about my well-being. Is what I'm.
Well, you know, advertising legend Roger Thornhill is known for loving his martinis at the Oak Room. So what I'll do on this train to disguise myself is 1, put sunglasses on, of course, and 2, order a gimlet. That's right. I'm going to shake my tail here by changing out olives for cocktail onions.
Also, could you give me the most ostentatious sunglasses that you have?
I mean,
I
these
want
are some-
everybody to see me.
Listen,
They're
these
kinda
are some
cool.
fucking baller shades,
they're
dude.
nice.
I want
They're
these.
nice.
Yes, they're very nice, but not for blending in.
No, exactly. Again, you
Guess
need
that's true.
get a fucking hat on there, man.
Yes, please.
But so yeah, and they are having like a real him and Eva Marie Saint. Like, and again, I was surprised how sexy this gets. We are talking to like it's not like I'm gonna start fingering you in a second, but it's pretty close.
It's wild, man. So he says to her, every time I see an attractive woman, I have to hide my desire to make love to her.
Yeah.
To which she responds basically, why bother hiding it? To which you can hear this character get a boner after she says that. But then the crazy thing is, if you watch, so she has the line, I never discuss love on an empty stomach. The line, if you look at Eva Marie Saint's mouth, it doesn't match up. Like she says, you hear her say, I'd never discuss love on an empty stomach. What was written and what she said initially, and it's in the shot, is I never make love on an empty stomach.
Oh,
And they made him fucking change it in a dub. dude.
I could see why.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then it's Cary Grant fucking volleys right back, dude. But you've already eaten.
Oh yeah, dude. But,
Yep.
but then you haven't. You know what I mean? So like, get hungry.
Yeah, I only had a drink, had my gimlet here and a basket of bread, but let's go back to your room and I can eat ass.
You know, you're totally right. Last night I was supposed to go to the Winter Garden Theater with my mother and then eat ass with my side piece. But now that was totally disrupted by this whole spy plot. So let's go in your room and eat some ass.
Yes, you don't make love on an empty stomach. Do you fuck? Do you fuck raw on an empty stomach? 'Cause I could do that all day, honey.
Would you fart in my mouth? I'm into wind play.
Now, this
Yes,
is gonna sound out of sorts, but could you kick me in the ribs while we have sex?
Of course, no one would ever make love on an empty stomach. What about pegging? How does that sound?
Oh, I peg before breakfast.
Dude, I love it.
Well, in that case, it would be good for me to have an empty stomach. So let's go.
I wouldn't want to vomit up this gimlet while you're pegging me.
So, but like they kind of go back and forth. It's very sexy. But the police are on board, are about to come on board, and this is when he hides. And I mean, like I have always like literally a bucket list thing for me, and it's surprisingly expensive.
Yep.
Is a sleeper car. I would
Yeah.
love a sleeper car. I would
And
love
here's
to
the
do
thing.
it.
To go across the country with it?
Yeah,
I would totally. I would do
I
it.
would, I would
or
go
at
to
least
fucking, I'd go to
Chicago.
your house in a sleeper car. Eric. I don't give a shit.
I mean, honestly, I would love to too. Like, not just my house, but just going a nice trip in riding the rails.
Yes.
I love it whenever we rode the Amtrak for
Oh,
tours
yeah.
and such.
Here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
I mean, like I love trains, man, and I would love to be able to do that. It's insane that trains are so expensive, especially because now they're so shitty.
Yeah.
Like you want me to pay the equivalent of a fucking plane ticket for you to get on your disgusting ass Amtrak car? Fuck you.
I remember when
There's something really, really bonk about the train system.
look at
in this country.
these dining cars that they have in this movie versus what you have now,
I
which
know.
is like a bag of peanuts or something.
Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say I have been in a sleeper car before, and it's not. It was 4 bunks, almost touching on either side, and like the narrowest area in between it. Like, yeah, something like this would be great if it was actually a private thing, but like,
Mhm.
I think you have to pay like a lot nowadays to get it private. Now, most of the time, just for a 4 stall like that, it's like a normal. It's more than a normal train ticket.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, no, I
it's
mean,
a
I'm
ton.
not gonna be clickety clacking down the train tracks like it's a fucking hostel. Like,
Sure.
I'm only gonna do it if I can have my own room. I don't need roommates, but like, it should just be more ubiquitous in the United States than it is. Because when we did the Channel trip, we went from England to France, and let me tell you, that's the best train ride of my life. We had an actual meal. You were seated like you were fucking human beings and not cows. Like, it was wild.
Oh, what's good here? Oh, let me get a really dry, shitty chicken sandwich with some old mozzarellas on it. And oh, yeah, I'll pay extra $3 for a small bag of pretzels. Excellent.
Oh, perfect. Just like I was hoping for. The pretzels are stale.
Do you have the full bouquet of Frito-Lay products or just the potato chips? I was going to say, it is nice just to have train footage. I like any movie with trains in it. I just like this as somewhere to be. And these conversations, by the way, these are shots in little like spaces. There's not a lot of action going on, and yet I am still pulled into that. And it's because it's Hitchcock. Like, he knows how to cut it. He knows how to hold on. He knows how to have performers say their lines in a way that actually draws you into what's happening with these two people. So that the point after, when we actually get to Chicago, we do feel like they know each other a little bit, and we do. I mean,
when they get to Chicago, they know each other quite well.
Well,
they do, yeah. Us,
on that note of insertion, Steve, this scene is one of the great Hitchcock getting around Hays Code shit.
Yeah,
where they're making out up against the wall of her train car. And they're rolling, they're standing up, but they're like rolling along the wall, and it simulates them being in bed. But you couldn't have people laying in bed, laying fully down horizontally, kissing, rolling around. So this is Hitchcock being like, all right, fuck it. I can fuck standing up. Why can't they? So like, they're just rolling back and forth, kissing, talking right here. Oh,
fuck standing up before the shot. We want to see it.
Dead. My heart would explode in my body.
The only way I can fuck standing up is if I could nail a woman's shoes to the floor so she doesn't move.
Which he would do. I think he did that to Tippi Hedren.
I believe so.
I only get hard when I am screaming at a woman that they're doing it wrong.
Yes. But I do love that cut. I also, there's just, and again, like they are so blatant with this stuff to make this movie as sexy as possible. And it really, not that it helps, the movie needs help, but it makes the movie much more interesting than it would just be, again, like, because this movie is just a cool, fun romp in a lot of ways, a spectacle, but there is so much psychology going on and other stuff because it's Hitchcock and he can't help himself.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like, if I was in the audience in 1959 watching this movie, and she now, I still have it on here. They're sitting on the bed making out, so you could sit and do that, right? And like, it's hot as hell. Like, I can't imagine sitting in the theater being like, oh my god, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, of course, people
this
had,
is back
but like,
when
stunning stuff.
Gentlemen's had hats back then to conceal their boners in public.
It's true.
You take it off and you put it on it.
I love the idea of somebody being like scandalized by this movie. Like they walk on there. That shit should be in New York City in the middle of that shithole. That's in a porno theater is where they should show that shit.
I love him hiding in the foldaway bed too, like when the porter comes.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious. And so this is where we get a sense there's something going on here because she sends a note to the porter. The porter walks down to another door, says this is from the woman in 3901. And it's James Mason and Martin Landau on the train with them.
Oh, Leonard, do you hear them? I believe they're fucking.
Well, the note that she writes is pretty much that, like confirming that, because the note just says, "What do I do with him in the morning?"
Yeah,
after I've fucking drained him dry.
No, you see, Leonard, it makes sense because she's my girlfriend. You see, and she's going to have sex with that spy. Wait.
It's sort of like when you have athletes, they don't nut before the big game, you see. So his balls will now be drained and he will advantage us. Our balls are full, you see.
Quite full, sir, quite full.
I talked to a young man the other day and he said I was turning her out. I like that. I like the sound of that.
Martin Landau's like, excuse me, Chief. I wish you'd told me this little speech about 5 minutes ago. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Well,
I was in the bathroom for a really long time there. I was beaten off.
Well, the interesting thing is Landau played this character at least to him as gay, like basically as a secret, as a closeted homosexual or just a homosexual man. And apparently, like, that was one of the things the censors had the most problem with was like because towards the end it becomes very obvious what's going on with these guys and or what's going on with Landau at least. Whether or not Mason's into it is up for debate. But like it's another thing that I'm like, this movie did not need this stuff, and I'm so glad it has it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Right.
Oh yeah.
and it's a setup for like think of all the movies after this. I mean, the one that I think of all the time is the John Travolta Punisher, with his number two
Jesus
being
Christ.
like
Will
upset-
Patton.
like but that was in like all these movies. Like
Yes.
so many Hollywood movies were just like the number two is always secretly in love with the number
Right.
one and wants to have gay sex with him.
the gay coded Hollywood villain or whatever. But like at the
Yes.
same time, at least it's presenting a sexuality on screen.
Oh yeah, I think this one that like everything else. The first time it's done subtly, it's done in a classy way where you respect the character. Landau is still a character here, but like after this, of course, it becomes like mitten press. Like it's just like put it on an assembly line. It's just whatever, amp it up as much as you like, make it
That's
as
true.
tasteless as you like.
That's true.
But so what?
You think the performance turns into the realm of tastelessness?
Not this one. I'm saying
The other gay villains in the future.
ones that are
Oh,
like this in the
I
future,
see.
they become more like because they're like, well, how do we do something new? Oh, I don't know. Make him like lick a picture of his boss or something.
Well,
Yes.
and that's what you get. Speaking of James Bond in Diamonds Are Forever with
Yes.
not Bruce Dern. Bruce. The fuck is that guy's
yeah, I'm
name?
afraid you're at a huge disadvantage, Mr. Bond.
Bruce
I'm licking
Glover.
your picture right now, cowboy.
Smuck some weed and lick some pictures.
We were licking pictures with Nicholson up at Poopy's on the strip one time.
Squeaky, give me those pictures I was supposed to lick.
Gonna watch FBI and then I'm gonna watch you die, Mr. Bond.
I love licking my pictures with Squeaky. It's just the best time of my day.
But the so Bruce Glover
Right.
and
him
the
other
other
hitman,
guy
right.
Yeah.
are they're like very odd, like teehee childlike kind of. It's very weird and not done at all right. I mean, it's like the end of that movie ends and Bond's like, "See you later, gay guys." Like it's fucking that. It's that bad. You know what I mean?
But speaking of Hollywood legacies and all, the scene when we get to Chicago and he's dressed as the baggage man.
Yeah.
All that, like, Spielberg took this whole cloth in Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's looking for the baskets.
Yes,
Like they're
it's
turning
almost
around all the
exact same scene.
porters looking
yes,
for
you're
where
right.
he is, and it's sort of very similar to in Raiders when he's trying to find Marion who's hidden in a basket.
Well,
Now that I've fucked, I realized I should probably put on some sort of disguise, as opposed to dressing exactly as I always have, but walking around.
I do my best thinking when I'm cum drunk. You see.
And it's also great that he insults her choice of baggage for his suit during this
Yes.
as well.
I mean,
Oh, right, because he's like, "Where's the suit?" And she's like, "In the small case that's under your right arm." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm sure that's fucking great for the suit. Thanks a lot."
Yeah, I'm sure it's fucking wrinkled.
hey, buddy, you're about to die. Maybe not. Who cares? Maybe.
I'm gonna be
Great. Now I'm-
buried wrinkled.
I'm going to have to get this suit pressed yet again. This is when he goes to the bathroom and he does do his shaving bit. You know what I mean? And she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'll talk to Kaplan. You don't have to worry about it. I'll figure it out, and I'll set you up on a great meeting, hun. Don't worry about it."
I like this shot of the we see Ava in the booth making the phone call, Eve in the booth making the phone call, and you just like it tracks down to show Landau in the other booth, and like you get the whole idea of what's going on. Another I mean, like I'm holding back on all the things I love about what Hitchcock does visually, but like the red hat thing, the way he gets you to search the whole depth of field in that scene is incredible. Like just by having this little note of like have them be red hats, and just have it like it's so fucking cool that works like that. And then when after they're done with the phone call, he does it again because Martin Landau goes out and talks to James Mason all the way in the back of the shot, like way, way back in the shot.
Yep.
Before they're leaving, and you're watching that as you're watching Eve come into like point of like, all right, I'm gonna send this guy to die. Like that's essentially what I've been told to do, is to send this guy to his death.
Right, because she says, like, all right, so this is what Kaplan told me. You're going to get on this bus, and you got to do a bus now, so keep it secret. You're going to meet him at the Prairie Stop on Highway 41, an hour and a half outside the city.
in Indiana.
And Landau's like, excellent. So then when he gets there, we'll have a man there with a gun and shoot him in the back of the head. Well, no, not quite, you see. Okay, so then we'll have a man who puts him into a truck and then drives off a cliff. No, we'll have a plane kind of swipe at him a couple of times, like he's King Kong.
Is Steve Sadak, man who has seen this movie one time, knocking the greatest action sequence in cinema?
Well,
It's amazing. It makes, from an actual trying to murder someone standpoint, and it's not a Hong Kong plot hole. I'm having fun. This is what I do for a living.
Sure.
It's a little silly, and it is amazing.
It's that
It's-
precursor to Bond. I'm sure
Yes.
they probably read those books or whatever.
But it's also in keeping with the fucking trying to kill him drunk driving thing. Like they fuck it up every time.
Exactly.
They always fuck it up because they have to go big.
And that's the thing, is like people went missing all the time.
Yes.
There wasn't really DNA. Like you could have killed this guy regular style, and it would have been
Exactly.
totally, a fucking
Regular.
ditch would be
Well, you know what?
fine.
You know what existed at this time? Lie. You could just find lie, and people knew what you could do with it too.
But this whole sequence is pretty cool because like this other guy shows up and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah,
is this
it's
the
awesome.
contact? And he walks over to ask him, but he's just like this country gentleman. And that whole line of like, well, that's the strangest thing. That plane's dusting crops where there ain't no crops.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
yeah.
just to redeem myself a bit here, the tension is amazing, and like the way that this is laid out is incredible.
It's
And,
just
like,
theatrical as hell. Is what
yes,
you're
of
saying.
course, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just breaking your balls, Steve. I mean, the thing that I love is that like this movie is ridiculously over the top. It ends with the characters crawling across the faces on Mount Rushmore. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
It's so ridiculous. I love how big it gets because like, yeah, the more grounded it gets, the more, Chris, like you were saying, towards like a more like The Wrong Man kind of movie.
Didn't
Yes.
Peter Bogdanovich, I think, said that this was a fantasy film, and that the title lets you know that because a compass does not go north by northwest.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at
Oh,
that.
Petey boy.
Little Petey boy.
That's my man.
Yeah.
And I love the escalation of the plane too, right? It's like the first time it kind of just like, flies over. It's just a pass. Second time we get the pass with the gunfire. Third time even more gunfire, and then eventually like slamming into this fucking
But
gas.
also-
I kind of just want the pilot and the co-pilot. This isn't working at all.
Well, I want to hear the whole discussion of where this came from. Like, okay, first try to actually kill him with the propeller. Like, try to actually do that. Oh, if that doesn't work, shoot him.
Right.
Just keep on trying to shoot him. If not, fly the plane into an oil truck just to scare him, essentially.
I love the one part that's kind of crafty in this scene when Cary Grant is like, I'm gonna hide in the cornfield, and then they do a pass and they can't find him. Then they come back around and they decide to crop dust it to get him
Yeah.
out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
field. I thought that was a great touch.
That's a good one.
That's
he
fucking awesome.
crop dusted me. He farted in front of me and then walked away.
It's a good thing I'm into wind play. Otherwise, I'd be very upset.
I like playing wind instruments too. Hey-o.
Oh yeah, but the explosion fucking rocks. The
Dope,
miniature
yeah.
work, all these little models and shit, and that's another thing this movie excels at. You got these little models here for the explosion. You got matte paintings galore later on in
Oh,
the film.
yeah.
You have rear projection all over the place, every single car sequence, and I love rear projection.
Oh yeah.
The reason they go big on this, like, I kind of get the plan, because like, if they did get him with the propeller and you just were a regular cop in the middle of nowhere and you find a body hit with the propeller out of nowhere, you wouldn't know. That would be the fucking mystery of the century
Yes,
in that
it would
town.
be
Like, nobody would know what happened.
It would have
What-
made it
what?
into the UFO Project Blue Book files.
It was
Dude, there'd
either
be a
bunch
fucking-
of bears. It was either a bunch of bears or a plane came down from the sky and hit this guy head on.
Well, it's like that fucking Soviet mystery from like the 50s, I think, where a bunch of hikers went off to try to cross this mountain pass, and then like they were all found much later, like completely fucked up, and like some of them had like their eyes ripped out, their bodies were crushed, and like nobody could figure out what was going on for decades. That's what this would be like. Podcasts would be written done
Oh
about
my
it. Books
God.
would be written about it.
Absolutely.
You know what's funny now? If someone gets murdered today, your last thought is like, God damn, I hope I'm not a podcast, you know?
Oh, yeah. And-
Yeah, totally.
And to be clear, he would like the name mix-ups, all this shit. Serial would be all over. The Webbies would be all over this shit. They would be like, this is great true crime content we've got here.
Today on The Curious Case of Roger Thornhill, we're dealing with Highway 41 Prairie Stop.
Yeah, you know, if you look at the angle of the ambassador's back, someone threw that knife. I don't think that he stabbed him in the back. Someone threw that knife.
I mean, he was a handsome man. He came up to the Grand Central Terminal. He asked me for a ticket. I almost gave it to him. He had this way of talking that just drew you in. But then I did call the cops on him.
Today we're examining the sleeper car that Roger Thornhill used, filled with cum, just blasted with cum everywhere.
Obviously, a sick man would have to have his initials rot on his matchbook cover.
And it's
Man, rot, by the way. Hey, what does he say at one point to her with that fucking he's like, that's my motto, rot.
That's what whenever I get into a situation or something, and she's like, what's the O stand for? Nothing.
yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
But so he escapes, and then it's gonna take him. I don't even know. I'm sure he is still attracted to Eva Marie Saint, but I would murder this woman.
Yes.
Not for the setting me up that I had to spend all day driving in and out of Iowa, fucking cornfields, fucking hitchhiking, and God
Although
knows what
he
else.
stole that dude's pickup truck with the fridge in the
Oh,
back,
that's right,
which is
yeah.
an awesome detail.
Dude, it is such a great bit of like just a single shot tells you everything you need to know, right? Because yeah, he makes off with this pickup truck with this fridge tied in the back, fucking hilarious. And then the very next shot is just cops in Chicago.
Yes.
It's very much a Chicago skyline, and the fucking truck with the refrigerator is right there. And it's just the refrigerator is so important because it makes sure everybody gets it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
What should we do? What should we do here, Captain? What should we do with the fridge? He's the only witness to that oil tanker blowing up. Bring the fridge in. Bring the fridge in for
Wait, did those
questioning.
bystanders die?
Yes, of course. We
The
killed
place
there
them all.
is
starved
the-
to death on the side of the road. He took their car.
I think there's a thing when he goes to the Ambassador Hotel and he's in her room. He spies the newspaper really quickly, and it's like 2 dead
Yes.
in plane plus gas truck accident. Well, that's just got to be the pilots, maybe.
yeah,
'Cause the
yeah.
two truckers get out like, get the fuck out
And
of
I
here.
think there
Yeah.
was just a guy. There was like a pilot and a guy with the gun because it wasn't like like a fighter jet type of shot structure. I feel like
No.
it was like just a dude shooting off the back or something.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But so that's now he's in her room and he knows that she's crooked and he wants to sort of see what she's up to. So it's kind of like really sexy, fun cat and mouse thing. And like she's like afraid of him, but also still horny for him, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Oh yeah, she's
It's-
working through her emotions, Steve.
Mhm.
She's got a lot of complicated. She's a spy herself, it turns out. So there's all these feelings bubbling up to the surface here.
And she's super surprised to see him too, because like he spies her in the lobby, and he's like, "So, didn't meet up with your friend Kaplan?" And she's like, "Oh, he didn't show up."
And this he knows that like he supposedly checked out at 7:10 and she called him at 9:30.
Well,
Yep.
he runs afoul of the fucking absolute worst fucking hotel bellman I've ever met, because like let me talk to George Kaplan, please. Like, oh, well, he checked out at 7:10 this morning. Okay, what's that woman's name? What's her room number? Well, that's 415. Like, it's just like, dude, you've really got to fucking like ask this guy for ID. Also, he's wanted for murder everywhere.
I don't need to hear her name. I know her name. It's Lying Trollop.
What's that attractive woman's room number? And just give me a key. We're old friends. We're old friends.
You're totally right, especially because if he had to pay his mother
Yes.
back at the plaza in New York, that $522 to go and get the key for the Kaplan room, he should have some sort of like bribery
Right.
thing here, slipping this
He
dude.
should eat his
I'm looking at
ass.
it right now. He doesn't eat his ass, slip him $50, slip him $50 and eat his ass, whatever. But this motherfucker, just here you go. Yep. This is the precise time someone I don't know that you know checked out. And then here's this woman's room number. Oh, I don't know that you know her. Man, we think privacy's bad now. Holy shit.
Oh, it's a room. Yep, it's room 463 there, sir. Do you need a gun? A knife of any sort? Would you need a... we do have nooses. We do have a couple. I don't know. Plural. Is it nieces? I don't know.
Nieces.
Come on.
That's what they used to call gallows before they came up with that term.
Uh-huh.
Take him up to the nieces. We're gonna hang him at the nieces with the nooses, with the noose at the nieces.
The noose of the nieces, the Nazis. But
Noise.
So yeah, they have this fun tete-a-tete where it's like, oh, why don't you get your, we'll have dinner. I'm not afraid of you, and you're not into anything. So why don't you get your suit cleaned, though? Of course.
That is the funniest thing. Like the conversation starts with things like, just leave and stay away. She tells him there isn't going to be anything more between us, all this shit. And then he's like, all right, how about dinner? She's like, all right, fine. But let's spend even more time for you to get this suit cleaned. And the craziest part about this is he's like, yes, how fast can you get a suit sponged and pressed? Oh, 20 minutes? Perfect. I was like, 20 minutes? This would be a thing where it's like, I don't know, man, maybe tomorrow.
But so yeah, this is when he does the thing where like she's on the phone and she gets an address, tears it out and goes. He does the boss maneuver of using the pencil to scratch it out,
And
which
the-
is so
Totally.
amazing in The Big Lebowski. We all love
Also,
it.
the fake
Yep.
shower pro
Oh,
move,
fake shower,
and
yeah, dude.
including whistle. I whistle while I shower. So
He's whistling, singing in the rain, which is pretty cool. Totally faking that. And then she's also like, it's kind of funny because it's a double fuck you right here. Because he's like, all right, I'm going to lie to her about this shower. And then she's going to lie about, like, she just ditches him right here. Like, I don't think he anticipates her running out. Is that right or no?
I mean, I don't think he anticipates. He's like listening in on her, so he thinks she's going to
Yeah.
do something.
Right.
But like, yeah, I don't think that was necessarily what he thought was going to happen. I will say we get a nice shot of these yellow boxers he's wearing. They
Oh,
look
yes.
very
dude.
nice. They look tailored.
they're
to the
stained
purpose.
with
Here's-
piss, mother.
Here's a good question, and I mean, like, it's this fake shower thing. He shaves in the what do you call it there? The train station.
Yeah.
He's not washing his balls this entire film, and those motherfuckers got a stank. He's got some
Yeah.
sex stank on him. I don't know if
Yep.
he's showering in the train or
Oh,
what.
Oh yeah, the balls are pickled at this point. They're nice.
But people used to like that. That was like an alluring musk.
It's
you know?
true.
Yeah, husk musk.
Smells like
Husky musk.
smells like red wine vinegar down here. I am so
Oh,
horny.
Oh, there it is. It's Kaplan again. I can tell it's him because his balls stink. I can
Yes, I've been chasing this ball stink from hotel to hotel.
James Mason lifts off the ground with his nose up in the air, sniffing the ball scent all down Manhattan.
But yeah, this is the auction scene, which fucking rules.
So good.
It starts out the three of them are there together, and like he's like, "Well, look, who's all here close together? Something out of Charles Adams."
Oh yeah, Charles Adams couldn't have drawn it better. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yes.
Like I had subtitles on this time. I was like, you're doing it for the show, take notes, even though it's one of my all-time favorite movies. But I was like, wow, the Charles Adams referenced in a Hitchcock movie. Pretty cool.
But yeah, so then everybody knows what's up. We're all and like basically they're gonna kill him right here. You know what I mean? It's all fucking on the table. And he's really going at it like, oh, this cheap floozy, enjoy it, James Mason.
Absolutely. And fucking James Mason, it's kind of funny. Like, yes, it's two characters talking, but it's funny to have James Mason on camera criticizing Cary Grant's performance.
Oh, yes.
Because he's like, I should say you've been overextending your hand here with a lot of these performances. First, you're the over-the-top ad executive. Oh, I didn't do it. He's like making fun of him. And I was like, weird to hear this critique. But this auction is fucking great. And this is where, like, James Mason, we don't know it at the time, but he's bidding on the MacGuffin of the film.
Yes.
We got some microfiche in a statue. Doesn't mean shit, which is why it's the MacGuffin.
I like it that it's so far in too. You don't even get like
Yes.
up front. It's just like in the near the end of this movie. Actually, you find out that there is even a MacGuffin, and fucking James Mason has Eve like by the back of her neck. Like this is
Yep.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
there's some more eroticism here that's not just train related, which I do like. But hey.
No, it's fucked up right here, man. Because that's going on, and then Cary Grant, like Steve said, is saying all that shit, and he has a line like, "Don't say it wasn't nice," and it cuts to Eva Marie Saint, and she's like completely tearing up. She's not crying, but the waterworks are right there.
Yeah.
which is pretty great. She fucking gets out of there, like stomps off, and then this is Thornhill like trying to get out of this auction, but like every place is surrounded, like all the hoodlums and
Yes.
Landau are all around and everything. So he just starts heckling this fucking auctioneer,
It's-
which man, oh,
What
Boss
do you
move.
what do you
bucket
do?
list move.
How do we know it's not a fake?
13. No, $13, you fucking asshole.
2 cents. How about a ham hock?
Auctioneer. Oh, auctioneer, when is your mother coming on sale? I'm just really curious. I'm trying to save my money for a piece of ass.
But I'm sure she'll be cheap.
There is a wild bit of slang here that I didn't understand, and like I apologize if this is like offensively dated or whatever, but he goes like the auction gets up to $22.50 and he goes $22.50 for that chromo.
I have
don't
no
know what
idea
that
what that
is.
is.
Chromo.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Maybe that means crummy.
Yeah, maybe.
No clue. You're right though. These are some piss yellow boxer shorts. Just put that out there again because it's on the TV.
And then, but it's kind of funny 'cause the auctioneer. I mean, it's played for comedy. Obviously, the auctioneer keeps keeps giving him more inches than he possibly should because he's just like,
yes.
it's just this. I mean, it's great comedy because it's just like, well, no, 13. Oh, good. Now you're finally bidding right. And he's like, no, $13, you fucking jackass.
And what's awesome is at first, like, there's the one lady who's like, why don't you shut your gross mouth? And like all these people are kind of getting offended. But then
They're
he
getting into
wins
it,
over
yes.
this crowd, dude. They're all fucking laughing like, yeah, that painting is a piece of shit. $13. Hey, this guy's right.
He's a joker. That's what he is.
Oh, and I think that's what these stuffy art auctions need. They need a Rodney Dangerfield-esque presence, and Cary Grant's filling the role.
Definitely.
here.
I think I just remember what that lady said. Like, well, we know you're not a fake. You're a genuine idiot.
That
Yes.
rules.
Man.
Well, because like I mean, like I was saying, the aesthetic thing. Like, how do you break out of these aesthetic binds? By cracking the veneer, by like
Yes.
tossing manners out of making society a joke, like completely
Yeah.
turning it chaotic, and that's what he does to get out of this very sticky situation.
Right. Because now the cops will come and arrest him and he'll be safe.
Well,
Yes.
but first he fucking nails this dude for no reason, just to really make sure he gets arrested.
punches that poor fucker right in the face.
Love it.
And then I love he's getting hauled out by the cops, and the one goon is standing there, and he goes, "Sorry, old man, keep trying."
I'm valuable property. I like that.
And
That
then
was
the
a good
whole
one.
stuff in the police car is great too. It's like, let's perk your spirits up, boys. You just caught the UN killer.
Oh right,
I'm
yeah,
a
he's like
dangerous
totally
assassin.
bragging about you fellas did all right. Look who you captured. And then like the one cop driving the car has got a newspaper on the seat next to him, and he's like, "Up, checks out. He's the moiterer."
What do you know, Jimmy? It's a murderer we got here. Why don't you get a signature from him just for the book?
It's funny. I'm glad you told us because you're white. We were going to let you go at the next, we were just putting on a good show for the auction house. We're going to drive you 3 blocks away and give you $5 for cab fare.
Hey, honey, it was so wild. Today I picked up this white man and I was about to let him go, but then all of a sudden it turned out he was a murderer. Can you believe that?
Lucky he told me.
I thought he was one of us. I thought he was one of the good ones. Turns out he's a murderer.
He's a murderer. So I did let him go because I asked him if he was a communist and he said no. So I said he's on your good way, sir.
I let him out of the car, of course, but I didn't give him the requisite $10 to get out of town.
And then they're taking him to an airport instead of the police headquarters. But I want to go to the police headquarters.
Yeah, because the cop calls in and he's like, hey, we caught this guy. And it's a funny, like, what? Oh, are you sure? Oh, right. Like, these dudes want to take this guy downtown. They want to be the heroes of it all. And then what happens is the professor has intercepted, and it's like, get to the fucking airport, and I will meet you there. And then here comes the professor with some more exposition here. Steve mentioned the quick scene in DC where they are all talking, and they do have all this exposition about, like, Kaplan isn't a real person.
Yeah.
He's just a dupe that we created so that, Van Damme and his goons didn't catch on to our actual agent that we have in bed with them. We do learn that detail. They do have someone on the inside. You don't know who it is at this point.
I also love the line of like Cary Grant's like, what is this, like FBI, CIA, and the professor's like, it's part of the alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. We're all part of the same alphabet. soup.
Oh, just so long as you're not those wretched men in black. I'm so tired of aliens.
I've been neuralized up to here, mother.
The amount of times I've had to do favors for Tony Shalhoub, you would not believe it.
No, mother, the car didn't drive on the top of the Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh, another squid baby was born. God damn it. Okay. Get the boys out there. We have to kill it.
Oh, the squid baby.
And now some insect aliens out there in an Edgar suit.
I should say the professor, by the way, played by a fella named Leo G. Carroll, who was in like a fuck ton of Hitchcock movies.
I like his presence.
He's
He's awesome.
I believe Hitchcock seems to have like his stable. Like this DP was like of most of Hitchcock's movies,
Yeah.
or a lot of them.
He is the nicest CIA agent of all time because it's like,
Yep.
at a certain point, like, if the stakes are as high as this guy purports them to be, you just kind of have to kill Thornhill here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
he knows a little too much. He's a loose end.
Yep.
And he's constantly trying to undermine your operation. You just
Well,
gotta get this guy get got. Oh no, he killed a murderer. He did kill that guy in the UN, and now he's dead. I killed him. Good.
even more so, Steve, you're totally right, because in that DC meeting scene, they're basically like the one lady is like, hey, so because someone says something like, oh, well, what are we gonna do about this? And this lady in the meeting is like, nothing. We're gonna let them kill him.
Yes.
And the guy, like the professor, one of the other guys is like, well, it's not his fault. Like, he walked into this whole thing. Like, it's this totally like comic, but tragedy kind of thing where it's this wrong man situation. It's a lot like an Alfred Hitchcock movie. And this lady's just like, nah, it's probably safer if we let him die. And then there's some sort of line about like, well, Roger Thornhill, it was nice. It was nice knowing you, but it's something like that.
Mhm.
So they have sort of already been like, oh yeah, let him just die. But then he keeps not getting killed by these guys. And they're like, all right, now we got to send the professor out here because this guy's not getting moided.
And now they level with him and they tell him, that Philip Van Damme is an importer-exporter of government secrets.
Of course. Yeah.
He's thinking about stopping the importing, focusing solely on the exporting of those secrets.
I'm actually studying architecture a little bit.
I know a fine man who is in the business, Art Vandelay. He brought me up in the world.
No, Leonard, I'm not going to do city planning. Architect is good enough.
But so they fly. So we have to go to Rapid City because, basically he fucked up the relationship between James Mason and Eva Marie Saint. So it's like a thing where if this goes on, she's either going to get murdered or her cover's going to get blown, or even
Right.
worse, she's just going to be like, broken up with and out, they're out their best asset there.
That's right. And I love he's trying to tell the professor that he's like got to get home. And he's like, I have a mother, 2 ex-wives, and several bartenders that depend on me. Fucking awesome line. But yeah, so Rapid City, South Dakota, here we fucking come, man. We are in this Mount Rushmore cafeteria. Here we are, the third act of the film.
Oh, man.
And this is like the cafeteria set, I'm pretty sure it was the same soundstage and part of the set of like the UN lunchroom, and they just kind of redressed it a little bit.
That makes sense.
The outer part they get where with Cary Grant looking through the what are those things where you put the quarter in? And
Those
like
viewfinder
view-
things?
Yeah, it's called a
Yes.
viewfinder.
Viewfinders.
Okay.
I love this scene where the CIA guy is like, "See, it's your fault that you're being hunted like this because you're too hot."
Yes.
The thing is that you're just.
Yes.
I mean, how am I'm getting a little sweaty here just talking to you, sir. Just talking to you right here. I got a little bit of a what the boys call a chubby. That's what I got right now, and I'm just talking to you like a man. Could you just stop being so hot, please?
It is such a hilarious casual conversation. Like the professor's like reading the newspaper on a bench, like, yeah, if you weren't such a fine piece of ass, my friend, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, apparently you hit, let me just look at my notes here. Yep, the back walls, it seems.
See, your problem here was she wasn't walking straight for a week.
Come on.
Yeah, the girls at the office said that you had quite the body count, and I misinterpreted that at first because of my business, of course. But goddamn.
You enjoy talent, sir, and I appreciate that. So yeah, we have this. Yeah, we're setting up this whole thing. Is everybody ready? Is this plan going to work? What I love is the professor tells him the plan as they're walking to the plane, and the jet engine noise takes over the entire soundtrack, and you cannot hear what they say, which is fucking awesome.
Which is so like perfect for this movie because it's all about information that you either have or you don't have, or you think you know or you think you don't know, and just like the movie is deliberately fucking with you in that way is just so perfect.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so cool because you've spent the last like, hour and 40 minutes at this point, having a lot of the information, right? Like we've known a lot of these sides, and now the movie deliberately is like, okay, for the rest of this, you as the audience do not have this information anymore, which is fucking cool. It's cool as hell. And she fake shoots him right here, which is great. This whole confrontation, like he sits down with James Mason and he's like, all right, here's the deal. If you give me Eva Marie Saint, I'm not going to, tell the government about your plans to leave the country, but I want to make sure she gets everything that she has coming to her.
I love he's like I'm George Kaplan, I'm a government agent, and I will betray my government in order to get this lady I didn't like that I had sex with.
Right.
This is also where we it kind of keys in because she shoots him and James Mason is about to do something about it, and Lando's like, you can't. It's not your place. You can't get involved. Like the first time you see this emotional connection between, he wants to protect him.
And, this gun going off, there's a great little goof here, some goofs and gaffs in the movie. When she fires the gun, or she takes the gun out, or it's like maybe right before, I think it's right before she takes the gun out. If you look between the two of them in the background, there's a little kid sitting at a table who's been watching them the whole time. And you see the little kid, he puts his fingers in his ears before she pulls the gun out, but she hasn't fired it yet. And the kid puts his fingers in his ears. And there was a commentary thing where Eva Marie Saint said like, oh, I guess like he sat through so many takes that we did of it that he was anticipating it and it scared him. But like, she's like, I don't know why they used that take. We did it a ton of times. Oh, look, I scared a child. Leave it in the film.
No,
more fear in the frame is good.
No, he's a double agent, you see. He's in on it. You have to. You never know who's in on it.
Kids Incorporated is part of the same alphabet soup.
After North by Northwest, I was going to make what I would consider my masterpiece, which was Child Assassin.
Oh, dude.
I wish.
About a bunch of child assassins who killed the great stars of Hollywood. Jimmy Stewart would be shot by a little blonde girl right in the head.
And it's so fucked up, dude, because years after Hitchcock passed away in 1980, they took that idea for Child Assassin and made it into Baby Geniuses. And he doesn't have any credit at all.
And you know, they watered it right down. is
They
what
maimed
did.
it. They maimed it is what they did.
And
Yeah.
you know what? We've been dancing around it. I haven't really investigated it, but should we do an episode on Baby Geniuses?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah,
Ask
sure.
One
the-
day we will.
And the people you weigh in.
It'll
Weigh
just
in.
be
the
it would just be me and Eric screaming in like Dark Side of the Moon, Wizard of the Oz, just screaming in different tones for 3 hours. I
the
think.
true ending of Child Assassins was James Stewart brawling with a 4-year-old girl, just throwing her into different entertainment centers and credenzas.
And you wouldn't have had to worry because, of course, you'd be throwing a dummy across the set.
I was such a fan of Village of the Damned because they suggested at the end of it that a bunch of children were killed, and I thought that was just a pep.
And when James Stewart is dead, they put his body in a trunk, and all the kids are having a party over. And now he's the one you see that's dead. It's just an opposite rope.
Rope 2, opposite rope.
Oh, it'd be so great if he was like morally bankrupt and did tons and tons of sequels like that.
Yes, the
Oh,
sequel
man.
to Rope, Ipor, which I always wanted to put it on a marquee. Ipor.
So yeah, whatever. He gets shot, and the professor comes over, of course, like, excuse me, I'm a doctor, and then like does the whole like, nah, you didn't make it, to which Landau like sees that, and so it's like, okay, he's been pronounced dead, or at least like they say something like critically wounded.
Yes.
Because I think they're getting the story. They get the story out so that they know, Mason and company will hear that, like, oh, he's laid up in the hospital. He's not coming back after us or whatever. We get this really nice scene of Cary Grant and Eva Marie Saint in the woods. Like the ambulance pulls up, the professor lets him out of the back, lets him off the stretcher, and they get their nice like goodbye moment here. And then it's like Cary Grant being like, well, you could just get out of the game. Come with me, darling. We'll go back to Madison Avenue. And then it's revealed, Eva Marie is actually getting on the plane with Mason to go, over the Iron Curtain. And that's a huge asset for them. So she's got to do it, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But it's the two of them act the fuck out of this scene together. They're so good. She's awesome.
Yeah.
The professor's getting pissed off. He's laying on the horn, which I love.
I love this other guy that just ends the scene by punching him in the face, and more appropriately punching the audience in the face.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good POV, like fist coming at the camera. And this guy's an interesting character, man, because he is a guy who I believe, he's a guy working for the professor in the Alphabet Soup organization, but he's getting to pretend to be a park ranger.
That's
for
fun.
Today's work. Yeah. Wearing a cool little uniform
I did
and shit.
appreciate the little ambulance from the Department of the Interior. It's cool.
Yes.
Oh, is that what it's set on the
Yeah,
side of the
yes.
car? Oh, nice. Oh, I missed that.
So the old CIA Alphabet Soup man takes Cary Grant back to a hotel, and he's going to get him back on a plane, I think. And he breaks out. Of course, Cary Grant breaks out, but I think it's we believe it's to save the day and everything. I think he's just tired of having to change clothes in front of this old man. He's had to do it for 3 days straight. So this old man's just sitting in his chair, like, yeah, you're too hot. Why don't you take off your pants and put on new ones?
I don't mean to be out of school here, because I mean, honestly, on the flight, I almost threw up a couple times. You gonna wash them balls anytime soon, or what?
I'll be honest with you. I'm enjoying the smell, but I don't think it's good for hygiene.
He asks him for some bourbon, and this old man's like, "Oh, this guy's so hot. I'm going to shoot my shot. Can I drink it with you?
Yes.
Can I get the bourbon and drink it with you?"
Why don't we just play cards or something? That'd be fun, right?
Why don't we play Go Fish?
Are those boxers naturally yellow?
bridge. So, but
How do you
the
like
thing
light
that's-
jazz? Oh fuck!
Well, we've already played Hit Me, so blackjack.
The movie does answer the question about them balls though, because it's not a hotel, Chris Cabin. It's a hospital that he's in.
Oh,
And when they cut from him getting punched in the face, he's in this hospital room, and it is a shirtless Cary Grant, just with this towel
That's
wrapped around this waist.
That's right. So he has washed the balls finally.
oh
Yep.
yes, of
For the
course.
third
yeah.
act.
Everything but the balls. He put a shower cap over his genitals.
No, can't destroy that red wine vinegar smell.
Ah, that's but they're burning a little bit. I got the first batch of Dr. Bronner's peppermint, and it's really just it's having a fire down there.
Oh man.
The funniest part about that the whole bourbon thing, because he's like, yeah, why don't you get me a pint of bourbon? And then like Chris, you said, he's like, can I drink it with you? And then he's like, Cary Grant's response is like, well, if you're drinking it with me, you better get a quart then, because I'm drinking my own pint.
And like, just to put the exclamation point on, like, Cary Grant is hot. He breaks out. He goes through the window, goes into another the lady below him, her suite, I guess. And she's like, stop. Oh, stop.
Yep, totally.
And she's like, I mean, like, dude, I get it. Cary Grant is a piece of meat.
And he knows.
I get it.
I love his response to that too, because it's like,
Yeah, it's like a you wish.
Yeah, like
she's
he
got
knows
glasses.
he
too,
knows
so
what's
it's like
going
she's
on.
She got glasses just means she's a dog because it's the 1950s.
Totally. Not today, garbage face.
There's a more attractive lady waiting for me. I have to go find her.
You see,
Imagine me making it with a bookworm. Talk to you later, sweetheart.
it's only fair that women who have 20/20 vision have me because they can see me properly. Very good body.
I only sleep with the ladies with the glasses in the Hawks pictures. See you later, honey.
So we get out there to the Art Vandelay house, or the Frank Lloyd Wright house, excuse me. Which is a fucking
Beautiful.
gorgeous
Beautiful.
house.
And
Gorgeous
some
house.
of it is like a painting here and there, but it's fucking
lot of it is a
awesome,
painting, but
all.
yeah.
It's awesome.
So great. And we're told, there's he's like spying on them. He kind of climbs up, and James Mason's there with Landau. Landau says something about, he's just heard from the pilot. They're like 10 minutes out. The plane's gonna land. They're gonna turn right around and escape the country. And the whole time, this is where Landau's like, James Mason, can I talk to you in private for a second? Yeah, man, your girlfriend is trash. I told you she was trash. She's crooked. She's gonna fuck us all. She'll be the death of us all. You're not gonna bring her to Eastern Europe, are you?
No, I this is around where I know it's all secrecy and we don't really, but like, I kind of need to know what James Mason like actually does, and like, to own a beautiful house a mile's walk from Mount Rushmore's top. That to me is a lot more money than even I can imagine.
Well,
Like,
I mean, he might have
insane amounts of money.
already sold some government secrets, right? I mean, the
Yeah,
professor alludes
that's fair,
to
yeah.
that Cary Grant's like, well, if you're throwing this woman into danger, maybe you ought to start losing some Cold Wars. And it's like, well, we kind of already are.
We're on it, Chief. Don't worry about it.
We're taking a bath, dude. Oof, this Cold War is not going
Listen,
well.
Start learning Russian now, okay?
Actually, there's just one house up there. We have a whole a suburban plan for the top of Mount Rushmore. There's going to be a lot of houses up there soon enough.
Can I keep this between you and me? We're friends, right? That McCarthy guy is totally right. Everybody's a communist. I mean, like everybody you could imagine is a communist.
I'm going to make a lot of money like James Mason does selling government secrets in my favorite movie, Alfred Hitchcock's Northern Exposure.
It's about a
Love
doctor that goes to Alaska, is in over his head. There's a fun moose in the opening, and then he sells government secrets.
Yes. And it turns out that he sells government secrets to the Saudis, folks. and he turns out to be the good guy. That's the interesting thing is he's a good guy.
Listen, I declassified that statue weeks ago, okay? All I needed to do was think about declassifying that statue and all the microfilm inside of it, and it was declassified.
I'm pitching a new show to Fox right now. It's Mind Declassifier. And you see how many documents you could declassify with your mind in 30 seconds.
Look, it's written into the Declaration of Independence that presidents can declassify microfiche by blinking their eyes.
You just don't get it. You don't understand Morse code. I was doing it all in Morse code with my blinks. I'm sorry, you don't understand that.
I was playing Morse code, 4-dimensional chess, Battleship, Monopoly, obviously.
Of course, I was doing it against these low IQ individuals who don't understand what it's like to do Morse code deals. And you had to do that. You had to do that back in the 80s.
Sir, that was a fax machine that you're talking about?
I do love
I know it wasn't. No, shut up.
To make his point, Landau just fucking unloads on him, and like the guy's like, "Oh fuck!"
And the sense of
it's like,
betrayal there in
Yes.
Mason's eyes is fucking great. Like
Yeah.
Leonard.
yeah,
Yes. Because they do a great thing where they cut to him, Mason, standing like right in front of the camera,
Yes.
and he sort of reaches out, and it's a very like, what's her face? Janet Leigh would do a very same reach out to the camera just the very next year in his next motion
Right.
picture. But right here, James Mason isn't being murdered
No.
in a shower.
No,
exactly.
no. So the gun is empty, and he explains, like, listen, I was just trying to show you that, this was all a game.
Well, it's a crazy thing where he's like, yeah, it's an old Gestapo tactic.
Oh, yeah.
You shoot one of your own to scare him. Except in this case, freshened it up a little bit by using blanks.
Have you ever heard of Project Gladio? Have you ever heard of anything like that before? They did it all the time.
James Mason punching Martin Landau in the face is great because Landau does a really great like landing on the couch backwards, like, oh, my face.
There's also a great line. He's like, "Well, how do you know she's crooked?" He's like, "Call it my woman's intuition," which is like
oh, right.
a
Yep.
great like double entendre of like all the stuff that's going on between these two guys. But again, like it plays like just like it's a fun joke. You know what I mean? Like you can
Yep.
read it either way you want,
Right.
but obviously there's a lot going on with that line.
And I would also toss out there, I mean, especially for like the late 50s, it's a line that like is not meant to be like condescending or hateful in any way.
No, yeah, exactly. It's just sort of
You know
like,
what I
yeah, it's like in the know kind of stuff.
It's
Yeah.
playful, I suppose.
Right. A playful, like winky winky. Yeah, exactly. I love him writing the note on the matchbook like, they're going to kill you. I'm up in your room. Come find me for more information about how they'll kill you.
And he tosses it down. Good little moment of suspense there when Leonard's walking right towards it, and then just ends up picking
Yes.
it up and tossing it in the ashtray.
Yeah, that's really great. Like, oh fuck, is he gonna see the the initials on it or whatever? Because he's got his rot matchbook. And so he basically has been like, look, when we get Eva Marie Saint over the ocean, we're gonna throw her out of the fucking plane.
Which is great.
the idea.
When they're saying that line, the camera like goes upwards. Like he's like, this has to be disposed of at a great height, and the camera like cranes up on them. Pretty interesting.
I just want like Landau at that point. Like, no, listen, you've been not listening to me this entire movie. I'm gonna shoot her in the head, and then we're gonna throw her in the bay, and it's gonna be
What-
over with.
What if I set up a bunch of lasers and put on a table, and it was all automated? You see.
Jesus fucking Christ with this guy. You're lucky you're handsome. You're lucky
Don't-
you're handsome.
Don't worry about it, Leonard. What we're going to do is we're going to get the pilot drunk. And we're going to have him. No, actually, we're going to get her drunk. You know what? Something. It's going to work out. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, Leonard. We're going to do what they do in the Tim Heidecker song, Donald Trump's Private Pilot.
So yeah, whatever. She comes up, she sees the note, she comes upstairs, he's like, they're going to throw you out of the plane. Trust me on this. They're on to you or whatever. And she's basically just like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to fucking do here. I
Yes.
gotta go with this dude. They're gonna murder me. I'm basically dead either way unless you intervene, I guess.
Right. So she goes down there, and then he's trying to like get down there to intervene, and he is stopped by Anna, the house cleaner woman, or what
Yes.
Yes.
what would you even call that? Like a butler or whatever.
She's like a maid.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a similar situation to the Long Island house because she also here is with her husband, who's like going down and meeting the plane like on the runway.
Yeah. And the husband and Leonard are going to come back and they'll dispose of Cary Grant. Then she's got the gun drawn on him, but he realizes it's the fake gun. So then we just get a shot of, the exterior, like matte painting of this house and him running out. You hear the gunshot and he gets in the car and drives down to pick her up. A lot happens in this few seconds,
Yes,
right?
it does.
A lot happens, including the biggest beef of the movie, right? So, Cary Grant, you are in this huge fucking built in Detroit American automobile, and you're flying down the driveway, and there's this like kind of wooden gate with like a bike chain on it, and like he gets out, like he stops the car, they get out, and he's trying to like undo it. No.
Just go through it.
Smash
I
through
thought
that
what you were
shit.
going to say is like just drive into James Mason and the plane.
I mean, that would also be awesome.
But the gate is also holding back Jurassic Park as well. Can we say that? It's a big fucking gate.
It is a big.
It's a
thing.
big wooden gate, but like I don't know, man. That car I think would cut right through it.
Oh yeah, so she's got the she grabs the statue there, the MacGuffin with the microfilm in it,
Oh yeah.
and we are off to it's the top of Mount Rushmore, and they're hot on our trail, so we're gonna have to climb onto. Like this is where I'm dead. We say Steve Sadak
Yeah,
kills himself in a horror movie.
Yes.
This is where I'm just like, well, the jig is up. You know what? Maybe I'll be a Soviet with you or something.
Well, 'cause,
Right.
like,
I mean, that's go ahead.
oops. Well, she died, you see, because she just didn't have the upper body strength for the third act. Like that would be me.
Yes.
Well, that brings to mind a good question, because I did write this note down. I was wondering it during the movie. So we all know about where we would stand with like when the heat is rising in a horror movie. But like, where would you guys stand on if you found yourself in a wrong man situation? Are you going along with it? Is it like just arrest me, kill me?
I would be like, someone please explain. I would try to explain it really confidently and get murdered really quickly.
Right. I feel like that's the thing, because I would be so frustrated.
Yes.
I would be, I don't know who the fuck you think I am, asshole. And then I would be like, my throat
I
would
definitely
be cut.
wouldn't make it this far.
No way. And like, yeah, and that's, I mean, current day, of course, you show somebody a phone, bip de boop, you're done. But back in the day, of course, I mean, I have spent many a year looking like shit whenever I go out. And I believe that this has made me repellent to this.
I see.
If I go out and somebody's like, that guy's a spy. No, he's not. That's not a spy. A spy would not look like that.
It could.
No.
No.
Is that a grease stain on his t-shirt? Oh, yeah, that's not a.
Ah, yes, there it is. George Kaplan, the hobo killer of. But I don't see his spindle, but everything else. It's him. It's Kaplan.
It's the smell, the hair, the clothes. I don't see the bindle, but what's that? Yes, he just picked up a half-smoked cigarette off the sidewalk. Yep, now it's his. Yep, that's the guy.
No spy would ever wear sweatpants outside. Damn.
Flip-flops in New York City.
The diseases, my God.
I love she fucking like breaks a heel right here, and then for the rest of the movie she's barefoot on Mount Rushmore.
Oh my God.
I mean, you have to be.
It's a tiny woman on a giant man.
It's true. A giant Teddy Roosevelt.
Finally.
It's my short story called Step on Me, George Washington.
I love that the main dude from like the beginning of the movie, the main goon, just fucking like off the top turnbuckle jumps on Cary Grant with this knife.
yeah.
And he's just, it's a real like, see you tomorrow.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He just like fucking kicks this guy like immediately off the cliff.
It's so good. His fall.
Oh.
Oh, I love it.
Yep. And Landau here doing the shitty move of like, Eva Marie Saint's hanging out by a thread and Cary Grant's trying to get her. And then he does the whole like, help me, please help me. And like Landau walks down like he's going to do it. And then it's like, uh-oh, stepping on your foot,
Yes.
which like totally
Stepping on your
it
hand.
hurts. Stepping on your hand rather. Yeah. Excuse me. Like, and yeah, it hurts, of course, but also like Landau doing that it's kind of helping Cary Grant stay up. Like I'd use that to my advantage a little bit.
Yeah, it's holding.
You
me
know,
in
he's
place.
he's pinning him down in place. Absolutely.
That's the thing, he's not doing a stomp. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
true.
the
Yes.
move. You want to start stomping. He's just kind of
Exactly,
lightly
dude.
putting his foot on his hand.
And then you hear
Yes.
the gunshot and the great fucking shot of Landau's foot
Oh.
just slowly turning over, and then the body
Yeah.
collapses.
And it's fucking awesome, man. We cut to like who did it, and we're at the top of the monument, and the professor. It's like the professor, a couple of cops, and Mason's there, and the professor's like, "Oh, thanks,
Sergeant.
investigator,
Yeah.
good shot, yeah, whatever." And then fucking Mason, just the last line James Mason has in the movie, he goes, "That wasn't very sporting, using real bullets."
It's great.
Well, yes, you see, you understand, everybody, the police and the CIA are actually good. They're good people. They don't abandon you and turn you over to the bad people at all. They're actually good people that save your ass. Now, let's all get laid.
Well, look, dude, we already said it's a fantasy film.
Sure.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but it's also propaganda, okay? It's clearly propaganda. That's clearly what this is.
Yeah, it's a little.
Chris Cabot's takedown of North by Northwest.
Oh my god!
Just propaganda in big, like, brick letters across the screen.
Alfred Hitchcock, old fat bootlicker.
Did you know that Alfred Hitchcock was a real problematic person? Oh my God.
Oh, I guess he was. Yeah, he was.
Turns
And
out.
not for propaganda, for other reasons.
It's someone's first day on the internet. Good for you.
Okay, now this is such a great shot here where he's helping her up, and then he pulls her up, and then boom, she's being pulled into bed on the train.
Yep, you still see we're fixed on the mountain, and you have the awesome we call it an audio bridge where you just hear him go, "Come along, Mrs. Thornhill," and then it cuts. We're in that train car, and instead of pulling her up the mountain, pulling her up onto the fold-out bed in another
And
train.
then the train into the tunnel. Everyone.
Oh yeah, dude!
Lit-
One of the most famous concluding shots of all time.
I just want to be very clear for the audience that this was about fucking the entire time. If there was ever any doubt that this was about ramming shit into other shit, I wanted to alleviate that for the audience.
It was about eating ass, of course. That was the fun. That's North by Northwest leads you to eating ass.
And you needed something that could do a ramming into something else, you see. So that's why we needed a locomotive, you see, into a tunnel and not necessarily a marshmallow going into a parking meter.
It was unfortunate the censors wouldn't allow me to reverse the film and then have the film go in and then out and then in and then out. And then you see a milk crate would break open. But that was the original ending of the film.
We screened the in and out cut at the New York Film Festival, the first one they ever had, and they booed for an hour.
Oh, did they boo? They booed for the back and forth, and then they booed once again for the milk gag.
The milk gag.
Man, but that is the end of the movie. That's what we go out on. It's a fucking penetration joke. It's incredible.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very
It is just
heartwarming.
so awesome. Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. We'll do some final thoughts and recommendations here. And Steve, as the person who's seen it for the first, I'm so jealous you saw this for the first time as an adult when you could really like appreciate it. Thoughts and final recommendations, buddy.
I loved it. I was blown away by it. I mean, obviously this movie has a ton of Hitchcock cultural touchstones that you knew when you were 4 years old because you either watched The Simpsons or fucking Muppet Babies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this has been referenced to death. So those references, it was really fascinating to like just get the whole context and like really just settle in with this Cary Grant performance. Like I said, like kind of up top. I mean, aside from like all the incredible stuff that Hitchcock is doing with the camera and the color and the sexuality and the psychology and all that stuff that he always loves to do. Just watching, like, just spending 2:15 with Cary Grant, just like fucking being a movie star is kind of fantastic. Honestly, I got no complaints
dude.
here. I loved it.
Oh man, it's so awesome to hear like a fresh take on the movie, man. It's why cinema's exciting. And you're totally right, Steve, just encourage people to see stuff if they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking make fun of people, because then they will feel bad and they won't watch it, and you'll be denying them a great view.
Yes.
Eric Siska.
Yeah, I love this movie. It's a great Hitchcock. I mean, there's so many great Hitchcocks, but this one has such a spring in its step. I find it a lot of fun. But I also want to recommend maybe my favorite James Mason movie. Yeah, my favorite James Mason movie.
Oh yeah.
Bigger Than Life, the Nicholas Ray movie. You guys see this one?
Didn't we see this together?
I
Eric?
saw it film form at some point.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
we saw this
little
together with-
little
yeah.
date boys.
Yeah,
like
date
that.
boys.
I like that.
It was great because Chris Cabot looked like total shit.
Yes, I was smelling like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vinegar balls.
That's how I
going.
knew to spot him. But that movie's about, he's like, James Mason's a school teacher. He's the lead in the movie, and he starts having like chronic pain. So he starts taking like experimental drugs, and he starts to go fucking crazy. Supporting cast.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Incredible movie.
It's an amazing movie.
Oh,
up there with
shit.
like Shock Corridor in terms of like insanity in a way.
Uh-huh.
And Walter Matthau, supporting cast member. So
Yep.
great one to check out.
Ooh.
Hitchcock, I mean, you know what to check out on Hitchcock.
Yes, of course.
That's right. Christopher Cabin.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to Hitchcock's abilities. Like, this isn't even one of my favorite like Hitchcocks, and it's still like a 4.5 out of 5-star movie. It's just like everything is done so well. It's so entertaining on a basic level. Just everything, he cares about everything. Like, that's what the interesting thing about the credits and all that while we talk about stuff like that is because like you use each part of the movie to make something new out of it. Like,
Right.
the credits are cool because he thought of an idea. Him and Saul Bass and all that, they thought of ideas to put in there. They weren't just like, oh yeah, well, you know, everybody knows it's a credits. Come on, come on, everybody, it's a credits.
Right.
But like everything is used here. Every shot is something interesting. Every shot is trying something a little new, a little different. I really appreciate that stuff, and yeah, I love it. Great movie.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to say anything that any others here today haven't already said. I mean, this was another, sort of gateway movie for me, coming up as a little cinephile, and I love it to death. And the funny thing is, I'm going to have to keep an eye out now because I don't believe that I've ever seen this movie on the big screen. So the next time there's a rep screening around here, hopefully I can catch it. But yeah, love the movie, and loved talking about it today with you guys. But that is going to do it for this episode of We Love Movies. If you want more fine WHM related programming, head over to patreon.com/We Hate Movies. We are just kicking off this WLM month, I should say, which means that the flip side is happening on Patreon instead of the monthly We Love Movies episode on there. It's a We Hate Movies episode, which is what again, Steve?
It is Ridley Scott's Hannibal. Can you believe it?
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
Rotten red bag with a Hannibal Lecter.
He made a
You're
rad
gonna wa-
movie here.
You're going to hear us talk about Giancarlo Giannini getting fucking got in that movie.
Oh, dude, a cinematic murder I still fucking wake up to
Of course.
sometimes. Yeah, so that's going on. We also have a full-length feature presentation on Animation Damnation this month, Steve.
That's right. My wife Jen joins us to talk about a little movie called Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a fucking amazing film. We do a deep dive on that. It's a full-length episode. It's so much fun. We're talking about all sorts of Tim Burton and Henry Selick goodness.
Yeah, that was a great
Oh,
one.
yeah.
And on the Gleep glossary for We Love Movies Month, you know him, you love him. His name's Chewbacca.
Oh,
Ooh.
whoa.
Oh.
What a
Big
big
boy.
get.
Yes, he'll be joining us for the entire hour or half hour, or however long it ends up being on Patreon.
Now, it's going to be interesting, right? Because we'll have to talk about the two ends of, well, the one true end of Chewbacca and then the fake out end of
Of course.
Chewbacca.
Yes. We'll be talking about the multiple deaths of Chewbacca.
Yes.
Oh man, I'd watch that. And on the main feed here, We Love Movies Month is just getting going. Steve, what's on the free feed here next Tuesday?
We're bringing back an old good friend of ours, Jamel Bowie, and we're talking about Thief.
Hell
Michael
yeah.
Mann's first picture, if you could believe it.
Great movie.
Fantastic.
Great movie, great episode that we've already recorded, which is why I was confused at the beginning of this episode.
Sure.
But yes, our good friend Jamel stops by. That was an awesome time. Another one, all five of us are just in love with that movie. So that's a really, really great, fun, funny discussion coming your way next week. So until then, when we're breaking safes with Jimmy Kahn, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.